Yes, it was.
Cool. I
Welcome
give that
back.
a 3.
Yeah, that was a weak one. That was a weak one. I like that you rank them. You're going to fit right in here already. Perfect. So welcome back to another episode of the Throttled Roots podcast, brought to you by our friends at TM Law. They got our back. They're going to have yours. Personal injury, motorcycle, car-related accidents, hit them up or just hit us up and we'll get you in contact with the right people. And of course, our friends are what we consider the premier dealership, Harley dealerships, Ventura Harley Davidson. They are going to get you squared away. They got inventory, pre-owned, new CVOs, whatever it is you need. Ventura Harley Davidson is going to get you squared away. Give them a follow on Instagram, Ventura Harley Davidson. All right. Without further ado, I guess you asked. So, cheers. Cheers, Bunnie. Cheers, Joe. Cheers. We have Bunnie, and one more time.
SB, Iron Duchess.
SB. Okay. Bunnie from Iron Goddess Show and SB, also part of the Iron Goddess Motorcycle Show.
Yes, sir.
Coming up on May 6th.
Real quick.
Creeping up, right?
Can we rewind time?
Seriously,
Can we get the Back to the Future dudes out here and just take me back 3 weeks, please?
It would. Well, it's got to be anxiety filled and all kinds of emotions and stuff that are going on with it.
Everything. It's all of these emotions at once. It's kind of anger, sadness, excitement, anxiety, all in one. And I'm like, oh my God, what's happening?
Yeah. It's a lot to take in.
It is so much to take in, but it's going to be worth it. We're going to do this. It's going to be amazing. And I'm hoping everybody's going to have a great time.
I have no doubt that everyone will have a good time. You can bet on that. Bet every dollar you got that everyone's going to have a good time.
Yeah.
And if you're like me and you probably, I've just kind of reading the room, you always probably critiquing, you're always probably trying to level up. So I know the day of, you're probably going to be like, this didn't go right, this going right. But let me tell you, let me just give you advice. Not that you need it from me, but nobody else will notice. Nobody else will notice if something doesn't go perfect to the T of what you have in your head.
Oh yeah.
I promise you that. Yeah.
I hope you're right. Because even now, planning it, I'm like, oh man, I should have done this different. I could do this different. Let's do this different. And I'm changing everything. And she's like, okay, Bunnie, come back down. It's all good.
Yes. And the great thing, it's all part of the journey, right? It's like a learning process and taking those mental notes. And the fact that it's the first of its kind, that's already a huge step, towards that success. And I think just having the show itself is a huge accomplishment.
It is. And it's not, and it's not, it's the first, but it's not going to be the last.
Correct.
So you're going to learn, you're going to figure out, okay, next year, so you got to just kind of get through the first one and work out. It's like when they come out with a new engine for a Harley, the first model, there's going to be some,
or an Indian,
or an Indian. You're right. Or an Indian or a Kawasaki or a Yamaha, whatever it may be. Whenever they come out with a new version, there's always a little bit of tweaking that has to be done after the first version.
Yes.
But that's all right. That's how you learn, right? That's exactly what.
And she's the numbers person, so she's like, are we going to do a spreadsheet so we could see what we could do differently?
I love Excel.
You're me. Well, I'm not like you. I can read Excel, but you're me. When I read analytics, I'm like, I'm an analytical person. They mean so. Numbers mean something to me,
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. They give you you don't need to live by them, but they at least give you some key points of maybe where you need to focus, where you have to go, demographic, different types of things, so
exactly
they are useful. So it's good that you have someone like that on your team.
Definitely. We balance each other out, and we have since the very beginning. She reached out to me on Instagram and she was like, I want to help. And I was like, I can't pay you. And she's like, I don't care. And I was like, okay, are we best friends now? She's like, I think we are.
That's true passion. That is true passion. Yeah. It's not always about the dollar. It's not always, yes, when you start getting to the point of where it becomes a business, then then there's the numbers and that type of stuff. But to kick it off, that's how this started. It wasn't about a dollar. It wasn't about anything. It was just about a passion of wanting to talk to people. You and I go back to Harley Showcase, I just wanted to hear your story, talk to you and get your perspective, and just, it was a passion, and it kind of just sometimes with personalities and where you take it, it becomes more than just a passion.
Exactly. Yes. And it's all about the support and the right people. I wouldn't have gotten to where we are right now if it wasn't for, her and everybody that's helped me and jumped on board just out of pure, passion for the female writing community. It's a beautiful thing. We have women from all over the world asking, how can I help you? Do you need help the day of? I'll volunteer. And I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. Yes, please help. Take all the help that I can get.
Absolutely. And you
know,
should.
It's beautiful.
And you should.
You have a really solid team, that's for sure.
Yes.
I mean, even at the AV event, you know, you guys weren't able to make it. And the people that were there, it was like, I mean, you guys have a great team.
Yes, Danielle and Whisper definitely, you know, they're lifesavers too. And I'll reach out and I'm like, I can't make this because I can't be everywhere. You know, obviously, you know, so we'll send people out and I always get your girls were great, your girls were awesome. They're you know, great to talk to, they're personable. And every single person that's on, you know, our team is just amazing. And I just want to thank you guys if you're watching. Thank you for everything. We appreciate they're listening,
they're watching. Absolutely. Well said. Well said. A little bit, I want to get a little bit of history because this is big. It's turned out to be a big thing, right? Over the past year and stuff. This is, you can just kind of watch the anticipation, the excitement, the buildup of everything that's going on with it. And so it's got to start somewhere. And where did kind of Bunnie kind of start in motorcycles? Where did that kind of where did that come into your life?
So in 1980, no, I'm just kidding.
Oh, we were going to go back. I was like, oh, we're going to be here.
Way back. No, so I've been riding for about 20 years. And we touched on this during our first podcast together is that, you know, I was dating somebody and he threw me on the back of a sport bike. And I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. And when we broke up, I didn't want to jump on the back of somebody else's bike. I wanted to ride my own. So my dad conveniently at the time was selling a 2000 Honda F4i tank. They don't even make those anymore.
F4i, a buddy had it. Oh yeah, I know exactly what bike you're talking about.
It was a tank. I couldn't even touch the floor on it. So I literally wore 6-inch heels. And I got one of my friends, his name was Little Ninja. He passed away on a motorcycle accident. Rest in peace. But he taught me in an hour. And we were on our way to Newport Beach right after. And I haven't looked back. And it was like, oh my God, this is so freeing, you know? And I've said it before, riding motorcycles is the only time that I feel like I'm in control of my own life.
I feel you.
Like, you
know, way to put it.
Everything just kind of flows into it and you're in control of, you know, the shifting and the clutching and the speed and the turns and the leanings. And it's just a beautiful thing because it doesn't matter what's happened to you. When you jump on that bike, you know, you're going and it's freedom.
Yes.
And I've never looked back. I love it.
That's every motorcycle enthusiast rider will say pretty much along the lines of what you said. And people that don't ride motorcycles have heard along the lines of what you said. And it's just an experience. It's just something that you can't feel until you experience it, until you get on it. People will look at them and go, they're dangerous. They're this, they're all these things, right?
All these opinions.
They're all, and they are dangerous, but it's dangerous to get into the seat of a car. It's dangerous to get in an airplane. It's dangerous to get on a boat. It's dangerous to walk across the street. It's dangerous to go into Walmart now and not get looted.
Right.
It's dangerous to do a lot of stuff now, but to do something that's dangerous, but on the other end of it, so like just freeing and just like the feeling that it kind of gives you, the adrenaline rush that it gives you, the calmness that it can give you like a whole range of things from, oh my gosh, this is nuts, this is crazy, to look at this is beautiful. You're in like serenity, like a moment. So it's you can't explain it. You can explain it, but nobody can understand it till they've done it.
And it's a completely different experience. I mean, we could take the same trip in a car versus a motorcycle. And the experience, the scenery, what you see, how you feel, it's completely different.
Totally different.
You know, it's like you can be in a tank top on the motorcycle and feel absolutely freeing. And in the car, you have your windows up and the air is on and you're just like, it's your
I've said this.
It's like you said, you can control it, you know, like you said, with the adrenaline, you could go fast and get some adrenaline, or you could just relax and chill and cruise. You can come home pissed off, horrible day, get on your bike, go for a ride and come back with a huge smile on your face. Like
I've had to do that.
Happened. You know, and it could be a 10-minute ride down the road and back.
Doesn't matter. It's a decompress kind of is what it is. And that analogy of you can do the same ride in a car and a motorcycle, and it's just a different experience. It's because you can smell, you can feel the change in temperature, the wind and all that stuff that can't be duplicated. And it's dangerous, but it's the other. If you think and worry about that, then you'll never get to experience everything that we're talking about. So you kind of have to just go, I'm living it, I'm enjoying it, and ride that damn thing.
At the end of it, isn't that the reason kind of why we do ride it? You know, it is a little dangerous, adventurous. It does kind of give
we're adrenaline junkies. I'd say so.
I mean, that is part of it.
Absolutely.
We know throwing our leg over every time, it could be the last time we ever do it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, knock on wood.
Yes.
But even after saying that, we'll do it again.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yes.
And even after going down, if we're able to, we get back up and we do it again. I mean, I've known so many people that have been in accidents and have been okay, and they're in the hospital and they're looking at parts for their bike. It's not like my leg is broken, I can't move. It's okay, I need to replace this part. Or how's the bike? It's like, don't worry about the bike. Worry about how's the bike? It's our injuries. As long as obviously they're not too severe, they don't even matter. It's what matters is getting back on that bike.
Absolutely. So starts at an early age. Then you get on the F4i.
I get on the F4i, riding around, loving it. And then my friend, years later, little ninja, he actually passes away. And
how long after he kind of got you onto the bike, or kind of
about 2 years? I think he passed away. And
so you guys got some time, some miles at least in between.
We did. We got some miles, and I only had my 3 children at the time, but I almost parked the bike then. And the person I was dating at the time came, and I was about to jump on his bike, and he's like, "Oh, you get on your bike," and I'm like, "No." He's like, "Get on your bike." He goes, "I know that you're flustered," because he passed away actually riding to my house.
Oh man.
It was like an exit from like my house. So it affected me, really negatively, but I got on the bike and, I kept riding. And then about 5 years later, I lost another friend to a motorcycle accident. And that one hit me because I had to identify his body. And so I had to go to the hospital. I was the one that identified. I'm the one that made the call to his parents or his dad, and I actually parked the bike for about 3 years then. I had just had a baby, and I was like, you know what? I can't do this. And then I started working for a motorcycle attorney, and I was like, okay, well, I can't work for a motorcycle attorney and not ride. Yeah. Like it's kind of like perpetrating the whole thing. You kind of have to be out there.
Can't be a tattoo artist and not have a tattoo.
Right, exactly. And I decided I had a Cowie at the time. I sold the Cowie, and then I decided to go for a Harley. Jumped on the bike, and every time I got on it, I would shake. Like I would physically shake. And it's kind of like what you said. It's like if you're worried, if you're scared, you're not going to enjoy that ride. And one day I was like, you know what? Like if I'm going to die, I'm going to die. And I could die getting hit by a bus, or I could choke on, the almonds that I'm eating. I need to enjoy this. I need to enjoy what I do. And after that, it was like, all right, dude, I love this again. I found my passion and my love for like motorcycles again. And that's been like 10 years now.
Okay. So a little on and off with it kind of, and what you said is that you put it away for a little bit, kind of put it on the shelf, and then something else happens, and you're a mom and you got babies, and then somebody else, close, all that stuff happens. And you got to be in the right headspace as well.
Right.
We say, yeah, you've had a long day, you've had a bad day, and you jump on it and it kind of unwinds you, but you also have to be clear-minded. You you don't really want to have things like that lingering in your head, because it'll really mess with you and stuff.
I always had it, because I'm a single mom, so I've always had it. If something happens to me, like what happens to my kids, what happens to my kids, and I got a life insurance policy, which I recommend for everybody, and if something happens to me, my kids are taken care of, and I passed away doing something I love. And you can't take from that. How many people, like I said, die choking on an almond?
Absolutely.
Like, I would rather pass away doing something I love than tripping and hitting my head on your stairs.
I totally get it. No, I get it. Do you get flack? Do you get that anymore about your mom? You shouldn't be riding
all the time. All the time. And we were having this conversation with SB, and I think somebody else the other day, about how it's such a double standard for men and women. A woman wants to get a bike, and it's like, oh my God, it's so dangerous. And, why do you want to ride? And a man gets a bike, and it's like, oh man, look at his bike. Did you see his bike? He got a bike. True. And there's really no difference between us. Men are parents too. Women, women are parents. And
you're right.
If a man passes away, it still affects the children, and it affects the wife. If the mom passes away, it affects everybody else.
Yeah.
So I get that slack all the time. And I've heard it even within my, work. We were in Mazatlan, and we got like on a little, what were they, like 350s or something? Right. And we were racing on the dirt with no helmets. And right away I get a text message that says, "What are you doing?" "I'm having fun." We can't afford for you to get hurt. We can't afford for anything to happen to you. Well, I can get hurt riding my bike with helmet on as I am on a closed, track.
Hiking the trail. Whatever.
So, it's always a little bit difficult, but you smile through it. You're polite about it, and you're just like, all right, cool. Thank you for your opinion. I don't really care, but I'm just gonna move on.
As you should. You have to. I get it, and I'm sure you do. Even as a father, you're right. There they are. They're screaming. Even as a father, you're right. I think about that myself when I throw them the leg over my bike. I make sure to kiss my kids and tell them I love them. And, and those things do run through my head for like a brief second when I throw when I get on the bike, but you have to live, right? You have to live a life. You don't just, you heard the saying, live to ride, ride to live.
Right.
You know, you have to live your life. And if you kind of go through your life that way, well, you're not going to live it to the fullest potential.
You can't live your life in fear. It's a waste of a life if you're afraid of everything.
Yeah.
You know, you can't live that way. You have to enjoy it, because we don't know.
Yeah.
You know, we don't know when our last day is. It could be 20 years from now or a day from now, and you just have to enjoy it. And at least I could say, you know what? I did amazing things. I traveled basically the entire country, you know, on my motorcycle for work, just to ride, just to enjoy it. And I wouldn't change anything about it. And my kid actually just got his endorsement, you know, a week ago, and it took him a while, and I was a little iffy about it. And I'm like, okay, you can't be hypocritical. This is, you know, it's in his blood, because he used to ride when he was a kid with me on the back. And once he got bigger than me, I couldn't, you know, take him anymore, but he's excited. And he's like, Mom, I can't wait. I want to ride to Sturgis with you this year. So hopefully that's going to happen.
That's cool.
We're gonna,
it's still scary though.
Oh yeah.
It's because it's just that thought that it's your kid, you know.
It's your kid.
You never want to see something happen to your kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But like you said, you can't be a hypocrite.
Yeah. Be like, Mom loves to ride, but you can't do it.
Yeah.
I know. I've thought about that when I like look at my tattoos. I'm like, okay, when my kid comes and asks me for my tattoo, what am I going to say? You know, like, how are you going to go? Not what's good for me isn't good for you. Or, you know, it's
do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, that's cool. That's exciting that your son, how old?
He is 23.
Okay. All right. So long way to go then. He's got a lot of adventures to be able to. A lot of adventures. Did he buy already a bike, or did he just kind of take the class?
Not yet. He just took his class. He's almost finished paying off his car, and he's like, Mom, I'm going to finish paying off my car, and then I'm going to get a bike and get a bike payment. And I was like, all right. We got friends that can help you.
From one payment to the next. Yeah. That's all right. Yeah. Indian Harley? What's he looking at?
He doesn't know.
Okay.
He doesn't know. I let him ride around. I taught him the basics before his class, and he rode my Indian around the yard. And I was really proud of him, because he picked it up like real quick.
There you go.
You know, so he was like, oh, I really like this. I'm hoping he goes Indian, you know, but I also have 2 Harleys sitting at home, so he could use any of those.
Best of both worlds. Yeah. Best of both worlds. So, and SB, how did you kind of get involved? Where did your motorcycle passion kind of start?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I started riding at 21, but ever since I was little, I've always enjoyed looking at motorcycles outside of the window, you know, from my parents' car. My dad would always tell me, like, I used to ride motorcycles, but in my mind, I'm like, okay, I've never been around a motorcycle, so I don't know if what he said was true, but I was like, maybe one day I can get a bike. Okay. And I had my own, like, life experiences that I went through that were also, you know, unfortunate. And when I went to college at 18, that was a little like difficult for me to kind of transition from, you know, a traditional Hispanic household to now you're leaving the family as a woman, as, you know, the first member of the family to go to college.
Good for you.
And awesome. Like now you're heading out into the world. And
fly, little bird.
I know, fly, be free.
And at 18, that's, I mean,
yeah, 18.
Everyone
that's
thinks,
a big step.
Yeah, everyone thinks it's like, okay, that's just a step. You high school, college, and then you go to college, but a lot of people just kind of forget how big of a like change and a transition that is. Definitely. Traditional Mexican home too. If you know if you go from that to a college, and how far away did you move?
Oh well, I grew up in Bakersfield, and then I ended up moving to San Diego. Okay, so almost four and a half.
So
hours.
You're a few hours away from home.
Yeah, pretty much.
Reasonable, you know. You jump in the car and be there in a little bit, but not across state. Yeah,
I know. You might as well be another state.
Yeah, come home to the fresh smell of food every night.
Every single day, she wanted me to call her every single day, like twice a day. I'm like, Mom, estoy en la clase, like, you know, my Spanish. I'm in class right now, like I can't call you. And then, you know, I would tell her, hey, I'm going out on Friday to have dinner with friends, when really, you know, it would be a college activity, you know, so it was a good time. But, you know, when I lost my brother in 2008, that kind of was like pivotal for me in my life, because, you know, in a way I had to be this person in my family, to carry the name and the legacy, but also trying to like live my life at the same time. So my parents kind of became a little protective of me, because now I'm like their only kid.
Understandable, you know. Well, rest in peace to your brother. I'm sorry for your loss. You just accident, motorcycle related?
No, he was in the military. Oh man, unfortunately.
Well, appreciate his service, and man, yeah, that's something that I obviously can't relate to, but I gotta when I see that, I just go, man, our government, like, you take, and then we don't take care of them afterwards, like they need to be, you know, like they need to be taken care of, because you're right, they see and deal with stuff that you will never see no civilian, no normal person will ever comprehend what it is that they've gone through, what they've seen, whether it's war, whether it's just, stress, whatever it may be. And
absolutely,
it does for me. It's a subject. I'm like, man, you just kind of sometimes leave them hanging, leave them out there hanging, and I know that there's programs. I know that there's, all kinds of different stuff out there, but it always sucks to hear,
absolutely. And I think even there's a common theme in the motorcycle community. Everyone has a story or has a background. And at the end of the day, the motorcycle, it's like that sense of therapy. It's that, at the end of the day, that's something I can control. Like what Bunnie mentioned, like I feel like I'm in control. It's my thinking mode, go for a quick ride. And like you mentioned, being in the right mindset. Yeah. And at least for me, it's been very helpful to, kind of go through these phases in life. And as soon as I got my Honda Rebel 250, I was like, okay, this is it. Like, this is life-changing for me, regardless of where it takes me, and I tell people that all the time. One of the biggest challenges to riding a motorcycle is overcoming your fear, gaining that confidence to get on two wheels.
It's absolutely true. So how long ago did the Rebel 250 kind of come into your life? How long has it been?
No, so I was 21. That was 2016. So I've been riding for about 7 years.
Okay.
I was just taking the safety course that weekend, and I bought the Rebel. And I told my instructor before we even took the test that I bought the Rebel 250. And he told me, he's like, well, you haven't even passed the test yet. I'm like, oh, I am going to pass the test.
I'm doing this.
I'm doing this.
No doubt.
I'm committing to this.
Now I know why she's your right-hand lady.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's happening one way or another.
Good for you. Good for you. Well, that's cool. That's a good, it's always good to hear the backstory, a little bit of why people got into. Everyone gets into it for different reasons. I got into it because of my old man, and I just looked at my old man and go, you're a badass old man. I want to be on a bike too, and so everyone's got a little different tie to it. Right. And that's what really makes this not unique, but I think that's why people always say there's something different about us, motorcycle people, because there's some type of story. Right? Yeah.
Like you can literally spot somebody and be like, oh, they ride.
Yeah.
Just by their demeanor, just how they act. And it's like almost like a big, ginormous family. And it's like, oh, sister, brother,
Absolutely.
Gloved hands,
Yeah, gloved hands. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, look at the hands. You can tell really quick. Yeah. Or I like to look at their shoe or their boot and see if that's a telltale sign.
Tell me you're a rider without telling me you're a rider.
Yeah, that's
and look,
one
you
of the ways.
Kind of see mine.
We got multiple shoes. We got multiple boots. They're spread out. A little bit. Yeah. Well, interesting story. I'm glad to hear that it's done, good things for both you ladies. Absolutely. In that sense, that it's giving you inspiration. It's giving you all kinds of stuff to the point where you're like, I'm doing a motorcycle show, to that level of kind of inspiration and stuff. So, where does the idea kind of kick off? Take me back a little bit to where you're like, where are you at home? Are you on the road? Where does it go? Like, this is what I want to do.
So I was planning a toy run, not this last December, but the December before. And I was talking to some of our sponsors, V-Twin now, actually. And I was like, hey, I have an idea for the toy run. What if we just do like a female motorcycle show? I haven't really seen just a female motorcycle show during events, usually male dominated. And he's like, oh, you know what? This is a good idea. And so I was going to incorporate it then. And I was, smoking in my front yard, which I do every night. And I get all my best ideas when I'm high. All of them happen when I'm high.
Most of them come that way. Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know what? No, I texted him. And I said, hey, don't say anything about the idea. I said, I want to hold on to it for a little bit. And he's like, are you sure? And I was like, it needs to be bigger. I said, it needs to be something bigger. And he's like, all right. And then I had brought it up to then, my person, and he kind of shot it down, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess it's not like a really good idea. And he's like, yeah, it's going to be too busy. It's going to take time. And I was like, okay, you're right. And then when we parted ways, and we touched this on our first podcast, is I was going through a really dark time. Like, it's just absolutely horrible time. And, I'm sitting there contemplating every decision that I've ever made, how I got to the point, where I'm about to get divorced. And, all of this stuff is happening in my head. And I'm like, dude, I need to do something. Can I cuss?
Absolutely.
I need to do something because I'm mind fucking myself. Like I'm mind fucking myself, and I'm over here crying all the time, and I'm over here like depressed as fuck. I can't get out of bed. And I was like, something has to happen. And it was 3:00 in the morning. And I said, you know what? Fuck this. This is a good idea. This is a good idea. And I'm by myself now. And there's nobody to tell me I can't do what I want to do. And I'm going to do it.
Good.
So 3:00 in the morning, I do the LLC. I do the website. I do the Facebook, the social media. I do everything. And at 8:00 in the morning, I hit submit. And I'm like, well, fuck.
Here we go. Here we go.
Here we are. And within like an hour, I had like 300 followers on Instagram.
Wow.
And she was like my very first message. And she was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I want to help. And I had like one post, right?
Yeah, you had one post.
Like I literally had coming soon on just one post. And I didn't even know where I wanted to take it at that time. I just knew that I had picked the date. And I had kind of was like, I think I want to go big, but I'm not sure. Maybe I'll find a shop that's going to let me do it. Maybe I'll find like a restaurant or a parking lot or something. I wasn't really sure where I wanted to take it. And, she reaches out and I was like, okay, but I don't really know what I'm doing.
So are you guys already riding and friends at this point?
No. We had never.
So you're not Iron Duchess yet?
No, she is.
You're Iron Duchess?
Coincidentally, she's Iron Duchess.
Wow.
Okay.
Coincidentally, and it happened that she lived in Redlands, which was like 10 minutes from me.
At the
so
time.
Everything just aligned. And I was like, do you want to have a meeting? And she was like, okay, let's have a meeting. And I reached out to like 3-4 other girls that I was really close with at the time. And they kind of fell off. Some of them rode, some of them didn't, but they were part of the motorcycle community and they kind of fell off of it. And, we had our first meeting, which ended up being us just drinking.
That's usually how the first ones go. Let's be honest.
That's how Throttle Roots came
That's
about.
how our name came about. That's right here in the garage with beers in our
drinking.
hand. That's exactly that's how it goes.
My little notebook ready to go. I'm like,
she showed up with a notebook, and like a little pen, and we're taking shots. And like
that's when you knew she was going to be the numbers person.
Yeah, and 3 hours go by, and I was like, well, we didn't even talk business.
All she had counted was shots on the paper.
She's doodling. I don't know if I like this. She's kind of crazy. She drinks a lot.
You see the glass freeze on the paper at that point.
Love it.
Right. And we just started building, we started brainstorming, and in the end, it was just turned out to be me and her. And then other people started, jumping on board, but I knew that I wanted it to be more. I knew that it had to be more. Once I figured out that this was exploding, it had to be more than just a motorcycle show. So I was like, we need like I don't want to say gimmick. That's like the wrong word, but kind of like a gimmick.
A theme.
Yeah. And we need something to draw people in, because it's like, we got a lot of pushback, believe it or not, both for men and women.
Really?
I've been called sexist. I've, man hater. I've been, women are like, oh my.
From women?
From women too. Yes.
Really?
I've gotten, more hate from women than I have from men.
Well, you know what they
when
say.
You have haters, you're doing something
That's what I was about to say. I was about to say, when you have people that are hating on you, you're doing something right. Yeah.
And like I did a post about this. I was like, you know what? I'm never going to get into a confrontation with another female in this community. Never. You don't like me, I'm still going to support you. You have something to say about me, I'm still going to buy your stuff, and I'm going to rock it. Like,
respect.
It should be about, empowerment, not about competition. And it's like, I'm not in competition with anybody. The only person I'm in competition with is myself.
Yep.
I want to be better than who I was yesterday and the day before, but it surprisingly, it's, there's more people that are for it than there are against it, but it takes a toll on me mentally sometimes, and you'll find me hiding in my closet. I tell her if I go missing, I'm in my closet. And sure enough, when my boyfriend came out of town, I can hear him. He's like, where are you? And I was in the corner, and he's like, what's wrong? And I was like, I just need my space. And he's like, okay.
Just need a moment.
Just need a moment. I'll be okay. I
Yeah.
promise. But, it's a beautiful thing that we're doing, because for the most part, like I said, women from all over the world, we have women from England, Australia, Canada, Mexico, across the country, all coming in.
Wow.
To be a part of the show. And going back a little bit, our theme was, okay, let's do the world record. I started looking it up. England.
Was that idea implemented early into like the planning? Like,
it was. So what do you think, like 3-4 months in?
Yeah, I would say early on.
I brought it up. I said, what do you think about this? I texted her like at 3:00 in the morning when I was like,
you do some good thinking at 3:00 in the morning.
And she was like, oh my God.
My dream.
She was like, she's like, I love it. She goes, it's wonderful. And I started doing research, and I was like, okay, England holds it. Women for Moto Advisors. The Women for Moto Advisors broke it a year ago at 1,549, and I believe the record before that was like 1,000. So they went hard and they smashed it.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the requirements from Guinness, and they wanted $8,000 to fly out here to do the count themselves. And I was like, okay, there has to be like another way around this.
Yeah.
You know, and I found like the loophole. They're like, okay, you have to number all the bikes, you have to click all the bikes, you have to record all the bikes. And I was like, okay, well, we're about to go live with this. Are you sure you want to do this? Because it's going to add more to our plate. She was like, fuck it. You know, let's do it. And that's when everything started spiraling. You know, that's when we realized that we needed a huge venue, that we needed more help, that we needed more women, that we needed like more people involved. And, you know, when you're trying to do a first year event and, you know, sponsors are like, oh, it's your first year event. We'll see next year. You know, we'll see how this event goes. And it's like,
Yeah.
Like, if you don't want to be a part of it this year, I get it, respect. But next year, you're not going to be a part of it because I believe in me and she believes in me and you believe in me. And there's all these other mom and pop shops, you know, that believe in me. And surprisingly, our local big
like
shops
business
didn't want to be involved. The mom and pop shops jumped in right away. And, you know, then other dealerships started jumping in who weren't my local, you know, dealership. And, you know, I have Red Rock Harley, I have Arizona Harley, I have San Diego Harley. All of them are like, you know, how can we help? We can plan rides. We can do this. And I was like, oh, this is going to be huge.
Good.
Like, this is going to be big. And that's when I knew that, again, it had to be more. And we developed the Iron Goddess Foundation. You know, $5 from each general admission ticket is going to go towards the foundation that's going to help women who have left abusive relationships get back on their feet. And I was like, this isn't about money. This isn't about, you know, publicity or popularity or bringing attention to me or her, or any of the other girls. This is about helping people get out of situations that are harmful to them.
And if I may interject, I know going back with our podcast, there's a tie to that with you. There's a reason that it's not that you didn't just out of the air pick something of that of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
there's something personal.
Yeah.
It's
to her.
You know, absolutely personal. You and I discussed that a little bit. You know, we have coincidentally a person in common, you know. And,
I remember. I heard
right?
when we were at Rolling Sands.
Yeah. And so to
That's
have
3 friends that anyone can have.
to have somebody who didn't know me validate the person that was involved was like an awakening moment, because there was this big bad boogeyman that I was deathly afraid of. And I heard his story and I was like, oh, can I shake your hand? Can I shake? And all of my girlfriends went up to him and shook his hand. And he was like, what is happening here?
We were best friends after
Right?
that. You know, it's like, you just find that common ground though, you know? And
Yeah.
then, I mean, like I said, all you ladies are very respectful and respected, you know,
Thank
good
you.
women, you know?
And I mean, I'm gonna
It's a good
speak
time.
I'm going to speak on Joe's behalf because him and I are very similar in this way. When it comes to, for me as a man, when it comes to that type of stuff, when it comes to, you know, abuse or physical or any harm to that, to me is, it's not tolerated.
Right.
No.
For me as a man, and, you know, I don't tolerate it.
Especially being a father of
And
girls.
I'm a dad to 3 girls. So there's another level of like, hey man, like what the fuck are you doing type shit, you know? Like I don't get it. It's that situation, but in those situations, as a man, as a father, I'm like, well, fuck off, man. Whether I know you or I don't know you, sometimes there comes a point where you just feel like you have to step in or do something,
Right.
because we as men we're protectors, and whether it's,
or you should be. Not everybody is,
Yeah.
you know, but you should be. And, you know, people need to know that abuse isn't always physical.
I was just going to say,
You know,
Very
mine
true.
wasn't physical. I never want to put that out there. I was not, it wasn't physical, but
mental's fucking
was-
just as bad.
It's
fuck,
almost
man.
worse.
That
it's
fucks you up
almost
even more.
worse. You know,
man, 'cause
I
it's
hated
the
myself.
longevity of it, you know.
You know, I looked in the mirror and I hated myself every day. And, you know, for the longest time, I didn't say anything. I kept it quiet, but I was like, dude, I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim. I'm not going to put myself and hide and put myself in a box and keep my story quiet when you're slandering my name. You know, it's like, I'm going to fight you back, and you're going to know, you're going to know what you walked into. And, you know, a lot of people can be like, oh, that's not true, this and this and that. But like, she's heard it. All of my friends have heard it. There was no shame in it. There was no, oh my God, your friends are around. I'm not going to say what I'm going to say. It's literally like, it was just all of the time. And this show saved my life. I had to throw myself mentally and emotionally into something besides my children,
Of course.
you know, to save my life. And I was like, there's women out there who weren't lucky. I was the breadwinner. It was my house, it's my car, it's my bike, it was my everything. So when he left, because he's the one that left, you know, I was like, oh shit, okay, do I want him back? what's going on, because I was so mind fucked in believing that nobody was ever going to want somebody who had 5 kids or, was going through a second divorce. And I was like, well, maybe he's right. Maybe nobody's going to want me. Maybe I'm going to be alone for the rest of my life. Maybe I am a horrible person. And I was like, wait a minute.
That's where the mental fucks you up more. That bruises, they heal and all that shit. Yeah, I get it.
And it took a lot of therapy and a lot of support from my friends and my family, and, to actually dig myself out of the hole that I put myself in, because I, in a sense, I stayed and I allowed it to happen. And through a lot of therapy, I understand why now, but a lot of women aren't that lucky. So the foundation was built to help those who can't financially, escape a situation, because when you withhold funds, that's abuse as well, and they're being abused financially. They can't leave, or they have, they're tied, they don't work, or whatever the situation is. And it's like, if I can help one woman through my story and my foundation, then all of my pain, all of my suffering was for something. And that is what I stand, through. And when the foundation came out and he found out about it, oh my God, it was horrible, and I'd
imagine that probably hurt that. Oh, because what you saw was the phoenix rising from the ashes. That's what he saw. Well, fuck, I guess I didn't do enough to leave her down at a certain level that maybe he thought he could.
Right.
That's what he interpreted.
And this is the first time that I publicly tell my story. My friends know my story. My family knows my story. Women who have approached me at shows to thank me, know my story, because I thought I was alone. I thought that I was the only one going through it. I thought nobody would understand, when in fact there's so many women suffering in silence. Yeah. And it doesn't get better when you leave. It gets worse. There was so many times that I was like, well, fuck it, dude. I'm suffering more now. Yeah. I might as well just suffer and
I feel you.
And
I get
go back. And I'm sure that this is, gonna fucking start a whole nother issue, but honestly, I don't give a fuck. Like this is my story. This is who I am. This is what came out of it. And I'm better now than I ever was before. Yeah, and if, people don't like my story, or like, well, you should have stayed quiet. Well, then you're part of the problem.
Yeah, agree.
If you think that a person, because it's not just women that are being, emotionally abused, the men go through it too. I've heard that a lot. I've heard a lot of men's stories too, and it goes both ways. And it's like, if you expect somebody to stay quiet, or you think a man shouldn't tell his story because he's a man and a man can't be abused by a woman, well, again, you're part of the problem.
Yeah.
It's like, we should help each other and support each other and uplift each other. And it should stop. There should be nobody harming each other because you're angry. Yeah. I should never cuss at you out of anger. There's a way to talk to each other and communicate and get my point across without being like, drilling it in your head.
Yeah.
And so the show, it's, we kind of, if the numbers are what we think they're going to be, we're going to be able to help a lot of women.
Love that.
And that's what we want, is every woman that's involved in the foundation has a story of abuse to tell. All of them. I handpicked everybody, who's in the board, because they have stories to tell. We have, therapists that we're going to start working with, who are going to be offering their services, who specialize in like abuse. Because you can go to therapy and you can be like, oh, my relationship is in shambles, or, oh, we'll talk to him differently, or try this. And it's like, no.
Yeah.
No. It takes a certain type of like therapist. I'm in psychotherapy. I needed a different kind of like therapist. My therapist is blunt as fuck. And he straight out said, dude, if he gave a shit about you, he would be different. And I was like, what?
Yeah, you almost need that therapist to say, like, you know what? Uplift you to be stronger and not try and fix the situation, just for you to fix yourself. And then you decide what you want to do.
Yeah. If you're given all the right tools and you just don't do anything with them, you're never going to get anywhere. Yeah. But if you're given those tools and you start building, your shit up, then you're eventually going to crawl your way out. And I did. I crawled my way out. And I don't know how many times my friends came to my house, picked me up off the floor, crawled into bed with me. We're like, bitch, get up. What the fuck are you doing? Yeah. You're the Iron Goddess. Get the fuck up. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. Now let me push. But it had to be something. It had to be more than just a show. And thankfully that's what it became. It became more than just a show.
And I love to hear that, because I mean, I know probably not 90% people know that there is a, this tied to it, there's a reason to it. A good amount of people know your story, they know the kind of the reasons why. But I love the fact that it started off as, well, a toy run. I want to do a toy drive for women. And then I want to do a show with women. And then it started turning into, I want to do a bigger show and then it turned into world record. And then ultimately, look what's transpired out of it. It sounds like, just hearing the timeline and hearing how things went, there's way more that came out of it than just simply a gathering of this big event that's going to happen that people are looking forward to. You're helping other people along the way, not just because like you want, well, because you want to, but not just because like, well, because I'm doing a show, I got to kind of involve. Sometimes that happens, you just feel like I'm doing something big and I got to bring somebody in to help. You're doing it from personal experience. You're doing it because you've recognized that there's a need for it. There's other women that have gone through it. Right. And like you said, if you can help one person along the way, if you can, hey, come on, sister, come on, I got you. Like I got you by the hand, and you've done all these different things to be able to help them. That is going to last way longer than the show. I'm sure is going to last for years and years and years, but that relationship, that type of stuff, that will follow you for a long time. That will be something that people are going to look up to you for and go, hey, Bunnie's an inspiration, whether
legacy.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's going to leave a legacy behind, whether you think that, you interpret that, you want that, whatever it may be. It's through your experience, it's through your work, it's through your energy and just your positive kind of like, I got this. Like, come on, I'm fucking going to bring some people right along with me. That's so much fucking more has come out of it than just a show.
Yeah.
That's inspiring. People, we need more of that shit in this world because this world is full. I mean, you can't turn on the news. I turn on the news every single morning. As soon as I get up, I turn it on, and it's just because I want to hear the traffic. I want to hear the weather, and it's all just fucking like a white man was killed, a black man was killed, or this was killed, a place was robbed. These people, I'm like, geez. Yeah. And then the feel good story is like, oh, a 20-second freaking feel good at the very end of it. Yeah.
A puppy was born in the local
right? So we need more of that. Like, so I mean, my kudos to you, my hats off to you. I know it's more, it's turned out way more than just a motorcycle show.
It has, and I'm not gonna lie, kind of like I was feeling a lot of anxiety coming here because I knew in order to touch base on like the show and the foundation, I was going to have to tell my story, to like a live audience in detail for the first time. But I had to like tell myself, you need to, because we had an intake with Eagle Rider yesterday or the day before, and they want to put us in touch with media coverage because of the foundation. Are you willing to tell your story? And I was like, oh, fuck. Yeah, I'm willing to tell my story. If it's going to help the foundation, then I'm willing to tell my story. And the backlash that I take, it's a backlash that I take, but I can help other women. Yeah. So
that's your healing process. Yeah, don't worry about nobody else.
It's a little scary, but I'm like, hey, dude, I came out better for it. And I was telling her, I was like, if I had stayed in that situation, I would have never done the show. I would have never met her. I would have never met you guys. I would have never met the community that I have now. And I would take what I went through any day as long as it led me to where I am today. Yeah.
I feel you. Like I totally understand when you're saying, oh, I got to talk about this. I got to, I won't go deep. I've in 2019, we lost our twin boys, and people want to hear about it. They want to know, and you got to relive it, and you got to talk about it. But what I get a lot of in return is when I tell them and I talk to them about it and what I learned from it and my headspace and like where I put myself and what I took from it and the reasons why and like the coping things that I came with. They end up walking away and going, man, you got a different point of view like on it. And for me, when I can take something that bad and like your case, your physical or mental abuse and stuff like that, when you can take something that bad and you can twist it and you can turn it into a positive, people latch onto that type of shit and they really recognize the good in a person, the type of person that they are. And it inspires them just, even if it's only this much, it gets them kind of shoved in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? And it actually was one of Ronnie. Okay, she was the one that was at A&V at Antelope Valley. I think she was, and we were right next to him. And I was talking to her about it, and not online because we did a podcast with them. Actually, they came over and sat down a little bit, and afterwards, it was about an hour later, she came over and started talking about, I don't even remember, some other event or something else that was going on. And then we just started to talk, and I kind of, we got a little personal, and we somehow ended up going down that road about my backstory a little bit. And she just went, man. And I was like, I'm not telling you to like have you feel bad for me or anything like that. I'm telling you because it's just my way of kind of not inspiring, but just going, hey, I've gone through stuff. I've gone through tough times too, but it's really how you come out on the other end. I'm a pretty firm believer that shit happens for a reason.
Absolutely.
And sometimes I question and go, God, why is it happening to me? Why has it happened to me? But I'm a firm believer in God and that there's a reason for it. And 3 months, 6 months, a year down the road, whatever it be, after you leave the relationship or whatever that is, a year down the road, look where you're at. And you didn't have to, but you did get kind of dragged through the mud a little bit to come out squeaky clean on the other end.
Yeah.
You kind of just, it's life,
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, it's like when you try, he's like, I'm going to expose you. And I'm like, do it, please do.
Gives a fuck.
At the end of the day, it's like, what are you going to do? Yeah. What are you going to say? I have witnesses. I have like proof. It's like, go ahead and expose me. Yeah. I don't care. It's not going to change who I am now. You're not going to break me. You can't hurt me anymore.
Yep.
Like
good.
I'm in a completely different mindset. And, I just came back from, well, not just, but I was in Daytona Bike Week, and you kind of think that you're healing a little bit, and you think you're in a process and you're healing. And then you realize, oh shit, maybe I'm not healed. I thought I saw him in Daytona, and I had a complete panic attack, ran through the Harley, and I had met he's my boyfriend now. So if you're watching, hey babe, he ran after me.
Good for you though. Congratulations on that. Yes.
He ran after me. Instead of running away from me, he ran after me, and he was like, hey, you're safe. And for the first time I felt safe, and then I met him and I was like, okay, I'm good. Good. Like I'm good. You can't hurt me anymore. It doesn't matter what you say about me. It doesn't matter what you're telling me. You can't hurt me.
Good.
Talk.
That kind of like when you were talking about that, you ever watch 8 Mile?
Yes.
Okay. One of my favorite one of my favorite movies. And at the very end, if you remember, it's kind of like exactly what he kind of does in the end of that movie. There's like a rap battle that they're going through, and they're like, you go first. And they're just talking shit about him because they know all this stuff about him. And he goes first, and he just like calls himself out. He just says, you go ahead. I'm going to say everything that I got to say about me. Mm-hmm. And then it's that guy's turn to go and talk shit. And he's like, I got nothing, because he just fucking put it all out there, and that's kind of the attitude. Is like, I'm not scared about it. Yeah. I'm not worried about it anymore, and that's when someone makes that turn. That's scary. Get the fuck out of the way, because that's when you're at your most dangerous. You're like, I'm fucking blinders on. I've already get the fuck out of my way. Yeah. I'm on the straight and narrow. That's been the past. So good for you. Very good for you. It's a good story. It's a good story overall because of where you're at now. The shit you had to go through. Nobody should ever have to deal with any of that type of stuff, But here we are now. We're going for the world record of the most female riders riding into the show. So
I don't think we're going for it. I think they're gonna.
I think I asked. I heard her name was Mouse. She goes by Mouse, I think, and Ronnie. They were the ones over at Antelope Valley, and I sat down with them at the podcast, and I asked them their perspective on what they thought. Do you want to, is there a number that you kind of like have in your mind, like 15? What is the number?
We need 1550.
1550. Now I think, this is me, I think you're going to crush it. Do you feel, are you optimistic, pessimistic? But where are you at on that scale of this?
I go, they have to always remind me. They're like, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. Cause I always say, we're going to try to do it. We're going to try to do it. And they're like, no.
Yeah. Cause you don't want to count the chickens before they, I get it.
Yeah. Cause I think when we were in Colorado for the bike show, they attempted it there and they got about 500 riders. I think did you say like a year ago?
Yeah.
They got about 500, which is still amazing. And in Colorado, but I was like, okay, I don't want to be like, yeah, we're going to do it. And then we don't, but I think we're going to fucking do it.
I think you will.
I think we are. And it's, I want to crush it. And, we have this thing with the ladies from England that they're coming out 8 deep rented motorcycles to help us break their record.
I was about to ask, are you like in contact with the current record holders?
Yes.
You guys have
really awesome.
They're coming out.
So really that is where you're talking about women supporting women, or just like, go ahead, crush it. We want to see you crush it. Like, yeah, we set the bar, but that don't mean it can't be broken.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And they tease me. They're like, we're going to take it back. And I said, and I'm going to help you take it back.
That's what's up.
You fly out there.
Yeah.
Every single year, it sounds like it's going to be a battle. And
it should be. And we tease people. We're like, bring it back home to the U.S. But it's a beautiful thing. I mean, they had 1,549 female riders on bikes. That's fucking amazing. That's beautiful. That's respect right there.
Yeah.
We want that too. And then we can help you take it back. And like you said, it could be like a back and forth thing, but I think that we're going to do it. Like I said, we have support from all over the world coming in. And that is insane. I had somebody from India reach out today and she's like, I'm going to try to book my flight. I'm going to see if I can make it. And I'm like, you go girl, do it.
That's really cool.
Hell yeah. And it's really about bringing people together. And like I said, everybody has a story of why they got into it. And we actually have anybody who enters the show in the bike show is automatically entered for the Iron Goddess Award. What that is you're going to tell me your story. You're going to tell me why you got into motorcycles, why you love it, and you know what you feel about your experience. And you have a chance to win $1,000 during the show. It's not about your bike. Doesn't matter if you have the baddest bike there. I want to know your story. I want to know why you're here, why you came to be here. And I want people to every year be like, you know, because we have the next generation coming in and the women who are, I want to learn to ride just to be a part of the show. We have women learning to ride just so they could ride in and be a part of that count. And it's like, tell me your story. And every year, and that's sponsored by Lifestyle Cycles. So thank you guys if you're watching.
Shout out.
But you know, we wanted it to be more than, here's an award, you know, here's a trophy, here's a plaque. It's like, we want you to know that your story is inspiring and we care about your story. It doesn't matter what it is. We care. We give a shit. We want to hear it.
That's cool. You know? What's your motto again?
Doesn't matter what you ride. If you ride, you're an Iron Goddess.
See that, and that goes perfectly hand in hand with what you're saying. It doesn't matter if you're on a Yamaha, a Harley, an Indian. No offense. No, I'm just kidding. That you're inspiring people to get on the bike. We have a friend, Alyssa, who just bought her first bike, and she's been talking about it she actually was helping me with the showcase stuff for a minute. She was helping me with some media stuff, and back then she wanted to help with the Harley showcase stuff because she wanted to get on a bike. She's like, I want to get involved. And that was kind of a little bit of her way to kind of just get involved in the culture and the scene. And back then she was talking about, it was just like a year ago, and she just bought her bike last week or the week before. And she's taking the class this weekend. 3 weeks ago, yeah. So it's really cool to see as a dad to 3 girls. I'd love to see it happen. I'll be a nervous wreck if my daughter's riding next to me, believe me. But as a dad to 3 girls who rides, and they live out here with me. They are in the garage all the time. They're growing up around motorcycles and car shows and all that type of stuff. I would love to see them get on it. And if they do, I'll have a grin like ear to ear, but I'll also be scared to death probably at the same time.
And, you know, and my whole vision was always, and that's why we say it's the first of its kind. And I'm sorry if it offends, you know, anybody out there, but it's the first of its kind because we're including everybody.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just
Can I ask why what is it that offends? What is it that you get in that sense? What offense does somebody take, or what backlash or hate do you get from that?
That we're copying. And like, I don't want to really get into details, you know, with it, but that we're copying because there is another show, but it's nothing like ours. It's more like a builder's show.
Okay.
And so,
am I familiar with it? Is it all female also?
It's an all female builder show.
Okay. Do you know, without saying names, Joe, just not coming to here, California?
They're bringing it back to California.
It's not what you're thinking.
I'm not thinking anything, to be honest. I'm trying to think of what it could possibly be, but
I've never heard of it.
Okay.
Personally.
Okay. But so currently it's not here in the state of California. Here,
but
what state is it in? Can you say that?
Texas.
Okay.
But they're bringing it to California.
she went, oh.
You know, and like I said, I'm not in competition.
Can we just say it?
Yeah. Well,
I don't want to.
Okay, fair enough. Remember when I asked you if we should?
So in today's episode,
we
were dropping names last week.
Yeah. No, I get it. I totally get it. There's a little. I've never heard of it. So to be honest with you, not because I haven't heard of it doesn't mean that it's anything. But I mean, if I haven't heard of it, I don't know. It may not be as big, or that may be something as I don't know.
I don't know. We, are trying to tread carefully. That's our intent is not to bash other events, other events and stuff. I think what Bunnie's trying to say here is we're trying to bring something to the table where it's a little more inclusive, and there's also a little bit more to it, right? It's more about getting more into the community rather than just a display of bikes, so bringing something different, to the point that you mentioned earlier, that there's a bigger need. And I think that's what kind of differentiates us from what's currently out there.
You know what? Let me say that. Whatever it is, I'm going to do some. We're going to talk offline. You're going to tell me later when we get offline. So I'm going to find out later. But I mean, listen, I'm not the only fucking podcast out there. There's millions of podcasts now. Everybody has a podcast. Yes. I'm not unique in that sense. And
there's a million events.
Right? There's shit going on everywhere. And I'm an advocate for shit. There's room on the table for everybody.
Exactly.
There's enough for everybody to fit in. And the difference is, maybe what your event is, you're going to bring it, whatever. I'm going to find out. I'm going to ask you later, but whatever that show is, you're going to bring a different atmosphere because your mind thinks a different way. Your ideas think a different way. You're going to you have different connections and different people and all that. So what the fuck is wrong with having another version of it, whether it's a slight whatever the fuck it may be? Why is there's one Born Free, but they're doing now they're going to go do one in Texas. So what the fuck? Is there anything wrong with that? No, there's not. So just a different flavor.
If you're a woman rider or anybody, I don't know why you wouldn't be at this event.
Right?
Straight up, period.
Yeah.
Like, why would you not want to be a part of that record-breaking scene? Over 2,000 female riders at one show.
Over 2,000, Joe?
Yeah,
Joe's manifesting that shit into the air right now.
I'm being honest though. Like, why would you give any flack or anything on that?
Yeah.
Be like, oh, you're mimicking. Why not just support it and be a part of it?
Like I said, I will support you. I mean? You want to be mad at me? I'm still gonna buy your shit.
It's kind of ignorant.
Yeah.
You know
what I mean? I've been on other people's podcasts that I fucking have talked on, and they've come onto mine, and I fucking tell people about them. Yeah, go listen to this podcast. It's a different point of view, different perspective. You know what? There's nothing absolutely wrong with any of that. So it's kind of bullshit. I'll be honest with you. I think I'm gonna find out. when I do find out, I think it's fucking. I think that's kind of just that's a maturity level. That's a little bit of some other dumb shit.
Let me see your phone.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Let me see your Instagram.
Joe's like, let me delete them shit before I get. Yeah. There's plenty of room out there there's enough for everybody. There's not just one motorcycle shop. There's not just one show. There's not just an event. There's not, shit. Everyone rides a road glide, for God's sakes. Like, it's just whatever, man. It is. It kind of is what it is.
Petty.
People are saying
so how do you guys plan on
never heard of it. No offense or anything, but I've never heard of it. Have you, Joe? No, I've never heard of it. And maybe because it's out there and
it started here, and then during the pandemic they took it there. And then so they're coming back. They're coming back. Yeah. And the title on their bio, it used to say the original, don't be
fooled by imposters.
Don't be fooled by imposters.
Oh my God.
And it's
really?
Like, those are fighting words.
Really?
Like, for real? Like, come on.
I'm not going.
Come on. Really? We're not even gonna say when that one is, but
actually Born Free's that weekend or the weekend after anyway. So
that's rough then. Don't put it on Born Free. Shit, yeah. Well, listen. If they listen to this podcast, for fuck's sake, there's plenty of room out there for everybody to do some shit, And really what it is like, what's wrong with, I've said it on the podcast before. I will always say it. I'm an advocate for not just taking from the community, but giving back to the community or the scene or the culture or the lifestyle, whatever adjective or verb you want to put in there. And this is my way of kind of doing that a little bit with this podcast. It's my way to give back a little bit to it. And what's wrong with having two different variations of it to give back, to give options, If we have, you said it earlier, it's male dominated, right? And there's 100 of them to go to. There's thousands of them to go to. And if there's two, well, that still seems like a pretty good, like,
right? And they're not alike. That's just it. They're nothing alike. And like, just to like, there's a show in Vegas the week before ours called the West Coast Female Motorcycle Ride. She reached out to me and she goes, would you like to host a show during our event?
Wow.
You know, or can we collaborate next year?
That's the way it should be.
And I was like, hell yeah, fuck yeah, I'll help you. And she's coming to my show and I'm going to hers. And that's the way that it should be. Like, we should help each other. What can I do to help?
Yeah.
Like, how can I help you?
And imagine if imagine you join forces. Imagine like, holy crap, like the sky's the limit type shit, you know?
And that's just it. We should all come together. And unfortunately, like, I get it. The world is weird and people are fucked up. It is what it is.
Let it be. Well, don't let it. I mean, I know it's probably just something that you got to keep in the back of your mind, but don't let it alter, of course, anything that you do and your visions and your goals or anything like that. And just don't keep marching.
And that's what we're doing. And, like, Eagle Rider called us the fastest growing show in the nation. Like, that made me cry. I'm sitting there talking to like the heads of like Eagle Rider,
That's dope.
And they also called us the most anticipated show of the year, if not the decade.
Wow.
You guys have a commercial on the radio stations.
Yeah, we have commercials. We're actually going to film like another little promo thing on Monday that they're going to play at the stadium during their baseball games leading up to our show.
Oh, cool.
So it's like we're getting support from everywhere. Like I said, it wasn't just when I did this, I'm like, all right, go big or go home. We're gonna fucking do this. We're gonna do it right. If I fail, then I tried, but
I don't think you failed.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't think you failed. Yeah, I think you're well on your way to many years of success with it. And hopefully you can let bygones be bygones and squash that, and hopefully, I
don't have beef. That's just it. You're fighting by yourself.
Yeah, isn't that funny how that shit works?
That's funny. Beef for real. I didn't know we had beef.
Funny how that works. Funny how that works.
It's like I don't have time for this. I don't have time to entertain somebody else's negativity. Like you said, you kill them with kindness, which piss them off even more. And it's like at the end of the day, you're gonna hate me for the rest of your life, and you're not gonna know why. Like, well, why don't you like Bunnie? I don't know. Well, give me a reason. I don't know. She dresses funny. Like she shows her stomach. I don't
know. How do you guys plan on? Is there going to be like a separate entrance, or do you guys have like a video camera and you guys going to be like clocking bikes as they come in? Or?
So we have to sticker every single bike as they come in on. Like we're gonna
a sticker
on the headlight. We have to click them, and there's going to be a camera constantly rolling. So we have from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. to get that number in.
Are you going to have them parked separately? That way it's easier to count.
So there is a one-way in and one-way out. There's 2 parking lots directly across from each other. We're going to have all the women going to the right and all the men going to the left. So there's going to be 2 lines of men are going to keep pushing. And as the women come in, it's going to be trial and error, to be honest with you. We don't even know how well it's going to go. But
in your mind, it's going to work out.
In my mind, it's going to work out. The day of, we'll see. But like you said, hopefully nobody notices.
Exactly. And people probably won't, I get it. So is it going to be, first of all, let's give everyone the date, remind them of the date.
May 6th, International Female Ride Day.
Oh, that must be why you picked you.
That is exactly
there's a reason that May 6th was on the map. Gotcha. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I was thinking, why'd you pick May 6th a year before it happened? Totally makes sense now.
And our first ride that we did for Iron Goddess was on International Female Ride Day. That's when we actually came out with our very first God, we've come such a long way since then.
Yeah.
We had 12 bikes that day in our little photo shoot. And we were happy with that. And it was the first time that I realized that I was doing something, and I was like, oh, wow. Because, conveniently the day before is when I got left, so I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, well, you should be here to support me. And I was sad. Like I actually had to walk up, went to the bathroom, cried it out a little bit, came back. And she was like, girl, you've got this. Let's do it. And I was like, well, fuck it. I can't go backwards. We just have to go forward. And in the last year, we have almost 8,000 followers on Instagram, all organic. We're getting about 500 a week or something, all organic. We have over 100 vendors that are, coming out. It's
wow.
Insane. And we still have vendors reaching out. We unfortunately don't have space anymore.
We're in there, right?
No. Yes, you are. You're right in the front next to our booth.
Awesome. Yeah. It wasn't important to me, but I thought it would be a good opportunity for you trying to go for this record and being able to capture it And I know you keep saying we're trying. You don't want to, count your chickens before they hatch, but whether you do it or not, I wanted to be there again as a dad to 3 girls and just in support of it. I thought, man, I want to be there to capture this because it's more than just an event. This is kind of a historical kind of thing to be able to be a part of, and I want to be a part of it for long term, if I'm gonna, I don't want to, I want to support it for many, many years, but I don't want to be the person that jumps on board 3 years when it's like fucking giant. I want to be there with Bunnie from day one when I was like, Bunnie, you doing a show? You want, I think at the time it was like, well, will you come on my show? Like, it was like, come on, I'm looking for guests, And,
and I was like, yes, I will.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
So it's, I want to be a part of it in that sense, and our team be a part of it in that sense to capture that for you. Sure. Because I think you're right, SB. It's going to be part of history. It's going to go down as just as something, and people are going to remember it, and people are going to talk about it, and maybe we're going to break it. Screw it. You're going to break it. You're going to break it. This. And then, and if you don't, there's the word next year and then next year, because it's only going to get bigger.
It's only going to get bigger.
Only going to get, but you went fucking balls out on the very first one. You went like, I'm going for the record, 100 vendors and sponsors and foundation. And you said, I'm going. Fuck this little show in the parking lot shit. We're going. We're going hard.
Vendor spots sold out.
Vendor spots are sold out.
Yeah, you only got so much room at 100 vendors. This is going to be a bit. The parking lot's got to be giant. It's a baseball field.
Yeah, so we're using the largest parking lot at the San Manuel Baseball Stadium. We were there a couple of days ago to kind of look at it, and I was like, oh fuck, oh shit.
Get in the car
beer garden and things like that. Or
so the stadium is going to provide the alcohol, and we have a little daddy daycare area, which is where the male-dominated Browns are going to be. The cigars are going to be. We have tell them about the cigar vendor we just got.
Yeah, so we just secured a new cigar vendor. It's a Latina-owned business called Lobo Cigars. So shout out to Lobo Cigars.
Shout out.
Who jumped on board, and they're actually going to do a complimentary cigar rolling for people.
Wow, that's really cool.
So that's pretty exciting.
That's going to be cool, man. 100 vendors, so bring your money because you're going to be a lot of stuff that you're going to be able to. Yeah, you're going to go shopping more.
And we have all types of vendors, all types. It's not just we have motorcycle parts and stuff as well, but there's people from all over. We have what are they called? The Women's West, I don't know, something from Canada. We have a vendor from Canada coming.
Wow.
And I was like, for real, for my show? And she's like, yeah. She's like, I want to come out. Well, fuck it, come out. Thank you.
That's really cool.
Thank you. And we've caught so much attention. We look at our stories and we see celebrities looking at it. We had Chris Chrisley looking at our stories and shit.
Wow,
and
cool.
I'm like, what the fuck? How did you find out about us?
Word of mouth.
That's funny.
Word of mouth and putting in the work. That's how they found out about you.
Joseph from the Mayans reached out to me, and he's like, I have daughters. I want to come out. How can I help? And I was like, do you want to be a guest judge? He's like, fuck it, I'll be a guest judge.
Oh, that's
and I'm
cool.
like, holy shit, you're volunteering your time. You're busy as hell. You're wrapping up your season, and you're volunteering your time because you have 2 daughters and you see what good this could be.
Yeah.
So everybody who supported us, I can't even thank you guys. I have an interview on Saturday with a TV station, and they sent me all of these questions. And one of them was what was your oh fuck moment? All of my moments are my oh fuck moments. Every time a big vendor reaches out or a new sponsor reaches out or a woman from out of the state reaches out, I get so emotional because I'm like, you guys believe in me. And sometimes I don't believe in me. And I have people who are like, no, dude, you've got this.
Yeah.
You've got this. This is going to be great. So just knowing that I have, people from all walks supporting my vision or our vision now, it's a beautiful thing.
That's called humble.
Yeah.
That's what that's called. And you have to have a certain level of humbleness in order to have something grow as big as it does and as big as it is. If you're big-headed, egotistical about it, then it'll run away from you, and people will see through that. People will see through that really, really quick. But if you stay humble through the process, that is, like you mentioned earlier, organic, right? You're growing organically because people see that it's the humbleness, it's the real. It's not you have to market, and you got to go and call a radio station to get the word out there. That's the business side of it.
Right.
But the feeling and the thought process behind it is really, it's coming from here. It's not like a team of people saying, well, here's the strategy to do this and do this and do this. You're really just like, I want to do this, and here's how I need to do it. And you're reaching people organically in that sense. That really speaks volumes. That's how it grows. That's how this has grown. never paid like you, never paid for followers, never paid for advertising on this, just keeping it real, being myself, being the same person I am right here on the mic as the same person you're going to find me at the Iron Goddess show or over at Neptune's or wherever it is that you're going to find me. You're not going to get a different version of me.
Right.
And when you do that, that's what we're really kind of keep people coming with you. So shout out to you. Good job on that shit.
Thank you.
For sure. 100 vendors, man. I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be, that's going to be a big, excuse me. That's going to be
don't die.
No. That's going to be,
we're not done yet.
That's going to be a damn great turnout.
Put my GoPro up there and get a little time lapse going on.
Oh, that would be cool.
I think I got 10 hours. So if we'll be near you guys, I'll just set it right there on our booth and just get a time lapse of everyone kind of
definitely.
That would be awesome.
That's what we're planning to do is have something.
And then I'll just give you the thing after, let you do whatever you need.
Oh, that'd be cool. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. We want to be a part of a help in that. We want to be we want to be there to support. Yeah. And so whatever we can do, please let us know by all means. So you're going for the record, 1550. 1550 is a number. You're gonna have
2000.
Everybody. Joe's putting it out there.
You just want more women out there.
No.
Yes, you do.
I'm not gonna mind it, but I want to see you kill it. To be honest with you, no,
for real,
no bullshit. I want to see you murder that thing, dude, and just fucking conquer the shit out of it.
So 1550 is the number in order to break the record.
I want to see you struggle to kill it next year.
Yeah, there we go.
You know what I'm saying?
I like it.
Yeah. But so that is going to be where people, where women ride in, and that's going to be for the record. Now you're having with it, and now is everybody that rides in part of entered into the show? Or are you having different categories just for the show?
Different categories for the show.
Okay.
So, we have a sport bike, cafe racer, we have trikes, we have a little bit of everything. Because like I said, we wanted to incorporate every female. We wanted everybody to feel welcomed and not it's just for Harleys. Oh, it's just for sport bike. Because there's such a divide, I think in the community. And we want to break that barrier. It's if you're on twos, we're family. We're sisters. We're brother and sisters. You're brothers. And it shouldn't be that way. We're all on twos. We all have that same passion for motorcycles. It's just a different type of bike. Yeah. So we wanted to include everybody, and we've done a pretty good job of that. Especially, our last photo shoot, we had 50 women show up. We had every type of bike.
Well, I've seen the videos, the Instagram videos and stuff, and you see sport bikes, you see cafe racers, you see Harleys, you see Indians. You see...
Oh my God!
I'm just messing. You see a little bit of everything, and that is that's the inclusive is nice. I'm trying, I'm thinking in ways in my head to kind of incorporate that more, the message that I would like to put out there as well, because as Harley guys, we sometimes get so fixated on and here I am giving you crap, but I'm really just messing with you, because I can appreciate and do appreciate all types of bikes. I'm fond of Harleys. That's my what I like most out of all bikes, but I've had a street bike. I've had a bobber. I've had a little chopper thing, and I got to the Harleys eventually. But I can go to Neptune's Rock Store, any show, and go and see a bike and go, fuck, that thing's fucking cool. I can appreciate cool in any way. I'm wanting to spread that message a little bit more amongst men. Us as men get we're so tough, and we're so
Harley.
Yeah, we're so me,
Tim the Tool Man Taylor.
Yeah, we are so that sometimes, and we get so fixated on the Harley thing and all that stuff that sometimes it's just recently the conversation I've noticed that happened amongst men in this, when you have a beer in your hand, you're talking around a bike, it's always just about the parts that you have or the next part that you're going to get. And I'm like, dude, can we stop talking about this shit? Can we talk about your kids or what you're doing at work? Or can we just other than just beating your chest about what the next, so I like what you're doing with that. It's, I like when I see that you have a mix of everything. You're not telling, hey, it's just Harleys or it's just Indians. It's just this. Bring what you got, ride it and enjoy it. And then when you get there, you're going to meet a shit ton of different people.
Yeah.
And that right there is what I think really is the bread and butter of it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what you ride, right? Come and bring it, and then you will meet and make different friends. Look at your guys' relationship now. It because of motorcycles, because of that passion.
Yeah.
The best of friends now and shit,
Yeah. And we Arizona Bike Week asked us to do a show. and we had all types of bikes. We had a lady, was it a sport bike, the one who holds the Guinness record for like fastest?
Oh, it was like a Buell like sport bike.
Oh,
but
nice.
It had like a 1200 like Sportster engine.
Like a Buell Lightning,
like
or
it's
the Lightning or the.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and she showed up.
So she has like a land record for like speed record or something?
Track record as well.
She held like 3 records or something.
Wow.
But she showed up to enter her bike in the show. And so we had Indians, we had Harleys, we had her bike. We had a little bit of everything at Arizona Bike Week, because we were going to be there. Four Corners is bringing us out as well to do a show. So is Sturgis. So all of these like bigger rallies are wanting to incorporate our show into their rallies because of the community that we're bringing, into it. So like I said, we're blessed. And like you said, we're staying humble, and my head's never going to get too big. I'm never going to be like, oh yeah, I never say my show. I say, this is our show. If you're a woman and you're in the community, this is your show. This is for us, for me, for you. It's not about me. I'm not the face of this. I make sure that the other girls are like the face of it.
You are. You got. What do you?
I always, so when people ask questions, I'm like, well, the person spearheading it is Bunnie.
Yeah.
I'm more of the cheerleader, like the supporter girl,
No.
Okay, see, there's the example of the humble, right? That's the humble, right? Is you kind of have to have that, like I think the same way in if people go, man, I love the podcast, love what you do and all that stuff. But in my mind, I'm just like, man, why do you listen? But I'm just like, dude, I'm just spitting on the mic. I'm just talking. I'm just having the conversation with people that I would probably normally have away from all this stuff. That's my personality. That's how I am. But there does have to be a face. There does have to be a connection. People have to make a tie to it and stuff in that sense. And it was your idea. You got to take, I'm going to give you this advice because I've learned to do this recently a little bit better. Pat myself on the back really quick for the accomplishments, but not to the point where it's fucking making my head big or anything like that. Because without doing that, then you're always just fucking busting your balls. You're just always kind of, but you have to give yourself a little bit of credit because I started off, you and we did showcase. I was with a phone probably on that mount over there. The very first one I did, I swear to you, I had the phone mounted. I flipped that trash can upside down and I put a cardboard box on it and I stuck my phone on it. That was my mount. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And here I am 2.5 years later and YouTube and a professional setup. You got to just kind of pat yourself on the back a little bit and go, man, look what I've done, and then just go, okay, back to work. Yeah. That's really what it kind of has to be, but but you're absolutely right. There's someone that's spearheading it. There's someone that's kind of like, they're looking to someone for a little bit of direction or a little bit of like, what's next? What are we doing? Let me ask you the question. So give yourself a little bit of credit. I know. Okay. It's blown up,
Definitely. Can I just comment that it really has been a privilege, to work alongside Bunnie this whole time. I mean, when I moved to Bakersfield, I was actually pretty nervous about not being as involved with Iron Goddess, because at the time I lived in Redlands. And so I was like, man, like I can't be at the shows or I can't be at the events or be too involved, but I'll try to help in any way I can. And then now we have like a whole community, a whole team, like even other ladies like Saucy Celine, like other ladies from Bakersfield, different cities.
Oh yeah, I know her actually. Yeah, I met her at
awesome.
I think the very first time I met her was at Laguna Seca last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I met her up there. Yeah, cool chick.
And so the thing is, like, I feel like there was always a need, and Bunnie kind of just put a magnifying glass on it and said, "I'll be the one holding the flag and just like run with it." And now all these women are coming out like, oh yeah, we can totally do this. It's like a football team. She's like the quarterback and we're all like ready to tackle. It's okay to be the quarterback.
It's all right. Someone's got to be the quarterback. Someone has to throw the football, you're out. That's a very good way to put it. And without kind of that at the helm, then you don't get this big support. You don't get all you don't get the help like this. That's like, I'm ready to go for you. I'm ready to put in the work with you, right alongside with you. But you don't take it the wrong way, because you've also been very appreciative and very, forthcoming and like, I couldn't do it without it. I could not do it by myself. I appreciate all the support. So there's a balance between it, so, but it's amazing to watch it. It's amazing to watch it grow. How many roughly you kind of have within your team? Cause you're sending people kind of all over the place. You guys are at a lot of different places because there's events every weekend.
There's events every weekend.
And I see you in a lot of them.
there's about 8 of us that have actually like been truly involved, and the core of it, but how many are in our chat? We have a group chat.
I think we maxed out on the chat.
Yeah,
like 30 something.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
but there's, about 8 that, and other people, they don't, I think everybody, but people that have more of the time to do it.
It's availability.
But Vixie, she actually runs SoCal Bike Chicks, and she has, Harley as well, but she's into sport bikes. So I always saw her as like my hero. Because she formed like her own little thing before I formed Iron Goddess, and she reached out to me. I was like, no fucking way, Vixie, she wants to help me, and now she's out there, she's helping, she's pushing, she's, she's spearheading a ride. And it's just everybody that I saw as like my heroes, my inspirations in the community, like, Lydia as well from Biker Chicks Inc. She's helped me a lot too. And it's like all of these people that I looked up to are helping me. And to me, that's amazing. I'm like, no way. Can I take a picture with you? The people that you used to walk up to and be like, oh my God, you're so-and-so from Instagram. Yeah. Can I take a picture with you? Now it's like we're a team, and that's awesome.
Sky's the limit when that type of teamwork makes a dream work. You know?
When people come together to help each other out, like that's what makes the world go round. And without that, like everything would fall apart. Even we were all against each other instead of trying to help each other, we would never get anywhere.
Yeah.
Very true.
So the show is May 6th. It is from what time to what time?
10 to 4.
10 to 4. Okay. Mm-hmm. And we're going to have music and stuff like that.
We're going to have DJs. We have her name is Red Rum DJ. So she's going to be our opening DJ. And she's going to be our closing DJ. And then our guest DJ is from Old School Radio, who's playing our commercials.
Okay.
We have an Indian tribal women's drum group coming out to do Blessing of the Bikes.
Oh, cool.
And then we have Muñeca singing the national anthem. So Muñeca, if you're out there, hi. She's singing the national anthem. She's actually opening the show. Wow. She rides and she sings beautifully. She's if you go on Instagram, when you put your music on your show, she's actually on there. So you guys play her reels. But we have so many people that are volunteering their time to help put the show on, and we have a CHP coming out to do demos. We have the Women's Moto Project coming out to actually do beginners courses. So if a woman, wants to come out and brush up on her skills, that's going to be going on during the show as well. And participating in that part of it, it's free. We have the IE Women's Derby skate team coming out and doing demos as well. So there's going to be like a lot going on.
So there's a lot of entertainment. It's more than just walking through and vendors and looking at bikes. It's going to be, so it's safe to say, family oriented, family friendly. Don't be afraid to bring your kids.
Everybody is
pile them in the car and come on out. Dogs? Are dogs allowed?
Yes, dogs are allowed too. And we're actually doing a Battle of the Iron Gods. We wanted to kind of flip the whole like scenario thing. You go to a big bike event and they have women, competing in like competitions,
bikini contests, all that type of stuff.
We have the Battle of the Iron Gods, the dad bod and a beard contest.
I think I can win.
I think you should go live while you're entering.
Someone's going to beat me on the beard. Yeah, they're going to beat me on the beard. I trimmed it recently, but someone will grab me on the beard. But dad bod, waiting for that my whole life.
Yeah, and the prize, it's sponsored by Grandpa's Gym. So the grand prize is $500.
Well, so what do you do? What do you have?
So we're still trying to figure that out. Okay. But what I was thinking is we would have them kind of do like chores,
maybe a dance contest,
a little vacuum,
change.
Can you sweep? I could do that. I'll win that shit. I just changed one right now. Yeah,
maybe bring somebody, if it's her birthday, bring her up to the stage and have the guys, dance around her like you see.
Oh man, I love it.
But we wanted it to be fun and interactive, and just to be like, okay, well, I looked at all the bikes and now it's time to go home.
That's one of the
slow races.
Slow races, yes.
Ooh. Joe's all about his slow races right now. He is all about his slow races right now.
I was thinking maybe goddesses against gods in the bike, like games and stuff, or just something fun. We're still trying to figure it out.
That is
so. I got to put Ray on the back of my bike and bite the hot dog.
Yeah,
I'll play, man. I'll play along. So I'll be down with it. Yeah,
I would too. I totally would.
That's one of the hardest things. Actually, people tend to, or they don't think about that stuff when you're going to have an event from 10 to 4 or whatever it is. you need to have people, you need to give people a reason. You need to give them something to be able to hang around and stay, you know, because you could just walk through the bikes in an hour and a half, and
we learned that
quick vendors. That's
like Espy said earlier,
trial and error.
Always learning.
And that's what you're going to learn. You're going to learn stuff here. You're going to go, okay, I'm not doing that part next year. This didn't work out like I thought it was, and you're going to narrow it down. You're going to figure out what's going to be best for it going for you. So is there only going to be like one big one throughout the year like this, or are you doing other stuff maybe? Because I know you go to other events and you guys are obviously doing promos and stuff, but are you trying to branch out with like doing other things in other locations?
So we are going to bring the show for sure to Florida. We're going to go to Denver, and we already have a date picked for Mazatlan next year.
Going international.
There's people reaching out that are like, hey, we can provide this. Come out and do your show here. We don't have anything like that here. So after the show, we're going to sit down and we're going to like go through, you know, the people who have reached out to us and figure out where we're going. And we want to do just like a little tour, you know, and people who can't come here, we're going to take it to them. Not necessarily with the breaking the record, but the show itself.
You know? The venue itself.
Like I said, Four Corners is giving us an entire campground to do what we want with it. They're like,
that's cool.
You know, the owner of Durango Harley called me. I was like, shut the fuck up. No way. You know? No. He's like, come out. We love what you're doing. We see what you're doing on social media. We want you to come out. And it's like, all right, well, we'll come out. You know?
When people reach out to you like that, it works for both parties. That's the most important thing, that it's a good thing for you. It's a good thing for them. That's when it works the best. That's when a partnership and a relationship works the best, when it's not just a one-sided thing, when both parties are like, oh yeah, I got something from this. You got something from it. We both grew. We both got an audience, whatever it may be. We all got something from it. That's the best way to go and network.
Absolutely.
You know, that's the biggest part of this whole thing. You've learned networking. Yeah. You got to just keep on the grind. Emails, text messages, Instagram, Facebook. You guys,
we are on Facebook. Not as active on Facebook, but we are also.
It's harder on Facebook. It's not harder.
Facebook.
Yeah, but I don't
I don't have a Facebook.
I have one I have one for the page just because it kind of goes hand in hand with Instagram, I guess, when you do.
So do you guys do TikTok for Iron Goddess?
No, we started a TikTok, but honestly, like, I'm so busy that like I don't have time for all of these social medias, because besides mine, you know, I run
That's all I needed to do. You just backed up my suggestion.
Yeah, you know, I'm super busy, and besides Iron Goddess, like, I have a full-time job, you know.
I was gonna ask, is this full-time? You have
I run a law firm. Yeah, so I don't want to, play on yours. I'm not going to bring up any names, but I do run my own, personal injury law firm. And so that's my full-time job,
God.
And luckily they've been supportive. And because I do marketing, so I just picked up another company that hired me to do their marketing. So I'm, besides marketing myself, as on Instagram, I market Iron Goddess. I do my law firm and this other company that I just picked up. So I get 3-4 hours of sleep a night. And it's exhausting, but like I said, I'm a single mom, and I do what I need to do to put food on the table for my kids.
Yeah. Your children, sounds like your children are grown up now more.
I have my youngest ones are 9 and 11.
Oh, so still okay.
Still little ones.
Still need mama then.
They still need mama, and their dad is very much involved, and we have a great relationship now. And actually, he's the one that's building the Iron Goddess bike for me. So I gave him a shout out on Instagram to him and his girlfriend, because I came home, I went to Daytona, came back to a complete tear down of my bike that wasn't really authorized. It was somebody trying to help, but they did more harm than good.
Gotcha.
And no bike.
I know somebody like that. I know a person. You know who I'm talking about.
No shop.
His name is Cody.
By the way,
I don't give a shit.
No shop wanted to take it on. Every shop that I went to was like, Bunnie, come on. So my kid's dad isn't the father. He doesn't like to be called my kid's dad, the father of my children.
Fair enough.
I reached out to him and I was like, dude, can you help? Please. And he talked to his girlfriend and she was like, absolutely. I dropped off the parts, and he's working on it. So, he takes the kids when I'm away. He's taking them that weekend. If I need help, him and his girlfriend, they fit in. But, it takes a fucking village right now.
Oh, yeah.
It really does.
Yeah, I know that. I got the 1 and the 2-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a lot.
Yeah.
Definitely takes a lot.
My phone died. I'm going to grab it and charge it.
Oh, did it?
So I have a way to get home today.
I see that. Yeah. So SB,
Yes.
are you riding down to the show then, or are you guys going to be too?
So I might, because I have. Yeah, absolutely. Hold on, we're just gonna switch.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
So
But you don't need to put mine on. Just plug it in.
There we go.
So I was actually thinking about bringing down my truck just so I can support Bunnie in any way to haul stuff around.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still trying to figure out how to put my bike on the truck, which I've never done before because I usually ride all the way from Bakersfield down to LA, like Riverside area.
Gotcha.
So that'll be new to me.
Do we know anyone that in Bakersfield that could help her out?
Like with the trailer, just to
Trevor.
bring the bike.
Yeah, I
Oh,
can-
there you go.
Trevor
He might. I think he
Oh,
might
that'd
help
be
you out.
awesome.
I'll hit up Trevor to see if he can
Yeah, that'd
give
be
you a
awesome.
hand. Yeah,
That way I can just bring my truck down.
and then we could help you unload it.
Okay, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
I'd
thank you.
imagine he's
I
probably
plan
going to go
on
down there.
driving,
So.
Yeah.
I think he plans on driving down there.
If
I
I
don't
could
think we're
just
gonna-
use a ramp that I could borrow just for this trip, that'd be awesome.
You're in Bakersfield.
I'm in Bakersfield.
Yeah, then I'll hit up Trevor and
I
see if he
appreciate
can get you. I know he does because I know he goes down that area, so he'll throw his bike in the back of his truck sometimes just to make it easier because he's
Yeah,
traveling
definitely.
with his dog and shit like that,
Yeah.
you know. So
Yeah.
he wants to have his bike there to ride, but he wants to bring his dog and
Definitely.
stuff like that. So I'll definitely hit him up, see if he can't help
Oh, I
you out to
appreciate
get
that.
you down there. Yeah.
Yeah. And originally we weren't gonna ride SB and I. And I had a meeting with like the person who's taking care of security, and he's like, "What are you gonna do?" And I was like, "Well, my bike's gonna be trailered in, but all three of my bikes are gonna be trailered in." And he's like, "What do you mean you're not gonna ride?" And I was like, "No, we're gonna be busy." He's like, "Bunnie, you and SB, you need to be 1 and 2. Like it doesn't matter if you unload your bike on the corner and you ride in. And I was
Yeah.
like, you
I agree.
have to do it." And we were like, "Oh shit, he's right." Like, we
Can you imagine
have
if you
to
didn't
be-
and then you ended up with 1548?
right?
That's
Yeah,
exactly
that's
what
what
he
he
said.
said.
Oh
Yeah.
shit! I didn't even think of
Yeah,
that.
I mean-
Oh, that would suck.
I'm not saying that like I said, my expectations are high, but that would be horrible
suck, yeah.
for that. You know,
Yeah.
that didn't even click.
Right, it
That didn't even
occur to
dawn.
us
Yeah.
either. We were just like, we're gonna be so busy, because all of my girls, the 8 that are in like our group, they're all leading rides. So they're riding in, and we were like, we're just gonna show up, we're gonna set it. And he's like, no, you have to. Like, you be those first 2 to ride in, and then just park your bikes and then do what you need to
That
do.
makes sense.
But everybody who shows up on a bike counts. So if I trailer my bike in, that's not gonna count. Like, you have to physically be in that count.
Ride it through the
You know,
gate.
yeah.
You
I
should
totally
go out
get
and
it.
ride all 3 of those motherfuckers.
Right.
It's like, hold on. Please hold
Right.
on.
Please hold on, I'll be back.
Yeah, I'll be right back. Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. And at first I was like, I felt you because what Joe was saying, it's a fine when you go and you work. Well, that's the priority usually,
Right.
is
Mhm.
making sure things are running smooth. And when we're going to set up at an event, that's my priority. I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, fuck, I would love to ride, but first things first, got to set up the booth and got to get things organized and make sure everything's kind of in line. So now when you do a business part of it, then the riding, people don't understand that too
Right.
much. They think that if you're in the industry, you're in the scene,
Mhm.
you must ride all the time. You must get to do all this shit. Well, yeah, sometimes most of the time the riding takes a back seat when you need to go run a booth, you need to go an
Mhm.
event, and
Yeah.
God,
Even to the events, it takes a backseat a lot.
yeah,
you know?
it does. But for this one, didn't even click on me, didn't
Right.
even dawn on me. Yeah, I agree, 100%.
Mhm.
Make sure it doesn't matter if you ride it 100 feet down the thing,
Yeah.
you should be
Yeah,
1 and
riding
2 riding into that thing. Yeah, because God forbid that happened. 1548, and you
I'll have
didn't
my cup of
ride
coffee,
in.
like, all right, let's do this.
1548 and the 2 that could have won it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh. Get your bike down there. Yeah. So on that note, then I will use that as another selling point to Trevor to say, hey, you need to get the girl's bike down there. You
And
need to help out
I
with
think
getting it
Pretty
down there.
Mama said she could help.
Yeah, Pretty Mama actually. I think she has a
She
trailer
might have a
herself
trailer.
also. Yeah.
So actually, she might be trailering there.
Oh yeah, so she
Yeah,
might be
thank
able to
you.
throw it in there as well. Yeah, yeah. She was down at your show also, I think, right?
Yes.
In Arizona.
Yes.
Yeah, she got a nice
She
bike.
won best in
Best in
show?
paint and best in show.
No, not
no.
best paint.
It was
Best.
best in show.
I voted for you for best paint, by the way. So like, I just want to put that
So
out
what
there.
happened
It's a nice bike.
I was like, she should take all the awards. Just give them to her. all of them.
It was 3. It was best in show. And then
People's Choice.
People's
and best
Choice
paint.
and best paint. That's right.
No, she
Okay.
won best People's Choice. People's Choice.
Did she get
I
People's
don't know.
Choice?
she won something,
Yeah.
but she should have won all of it.
She won,
At ours, she won Best Dinah and People's Choice.
yeah, she wants
Mhm.
People's Choice
That's a
down here at ours
badass
too.
bike.
It's a nice bike.
It's
Our
It's
buddy.
very rare that
Yeah.
a Dinah wins People's Choice.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. our buddy Chris, I've had him on the podcast, Evil One Customs. He's the one that did all the paint work on that thing. Is a talented painter. He's a talented guy.
Down to the detail. Like, for example, her, what is it, the crash bars? It's like the shape of California. I was like, that is really dope.
A lot of stuff on there. Yeah.
Really creative.
Yeah. He said he hates Gucci now because of all the. He hates that pattern now. I don't blame him because
he sees it in his sleep. He's not switching.
I'm sure he closes his eyes and he sees Gucci all over the place now. Yeah. It's a very nice bike. And she's a cool chick. And
she's awesome.
She's a cool chick. And it's a nice bike. But I think more important, she rides.
Yes,
she rides it. It's not, I mean, she does put it in a trailer. She does, stuff like that. But when she gets to the place, she's riding it. Sometimes you just have to, sometimes it's just the nature of the beast that it comes along with it.
She trailered to the show, I think, but it was raining and
and she came down also the Friday before. And
we did Long Beach Pre asked us to do a show during their bike night. And so
that was just this weekend.
She rode out there, huh?
No.
Yeah, it was Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we had to set up. So we actually trailered our bikes. 3 of us, Myra, Dee, and I trailered our bikes together. And there is this dude, he got drunk or something after, but we were loading the bikes up and he starts talking shit to the girls who were loading up the bike. He's like, you guys aren't fucking real riders. You aren't real riders. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude, bro? I want to Sturgis by myself. Where's your bike? Because you didn't ride here.
Talk shit to him.
We talked earlier, but it's funny that, trailering your bike, it's such a bad stigma, but sometimes you just have to. Sometimes you just have to.
I trailered my bike to Vegas for the Bell Brawl.
Yeah.
And people were like, you're going to trailer? I'm like, yeah. I go, I'm going to trailer down there because I plan on riding down there and fucking off.
Sometimes it just makes more sense.
And my bike's not newer. It's a 03, so it's like, it's a little bit of a clapper, if it breaks, I don't want it to break on the road. I'd rather have it on a trailer.
Well, trust. I think you guys would agree that most of us, we don't want to do it, but if it's the only way to have our bike at the place with us and also work, well, then I'm fucking going to trailer.
And I've ridden, I've done my riding. I've done Vegas. I've done, AZ Bike Week. I've done my rides. So it's like, I
nothing
trailer,
to prove.
I could trailer now. I've been there, done
Dude,
it.
I have almost 20,000 miles on my bike in a year. Ain't nobody gonna tell me that I don't ride.
Yeah.
I ride. When the day that I met my boyfriend, I was promoting the show. I mentioned that we were doing a show in Sturgis, and he goes, "Oh, maybe I'll trailer and I'll ride out with you." And I laughed and I said, "Bro, what?" He's like, "Well, if you want, you could trailer with me." And I was like, "No."
I'll see you there on the bike.
If you want, you could trailer and I'll meet you there on the bike. But I almost walked away from him at that point. Now he's riding. He bought a bike and now to keep here in California. So now he's riding out with me. But I'm like, no, if I can ride, I'm going to ride. Sometimes you just can't. Yeah. But if I can, I will.
Totally get it. Mm-hmm. Totally get it. On that note, I follow along just on a personal level. Aside from all that, you look good. You look happy with all that stuff. Congratulations! Yes, it's always good. It's always good to have somebody on your team on that side of it.
Yes, and
you look very happy.
I am. He's great. He's very supportive, and I didn't date for a year. I didn't want to bring anybody into my life when it was such a mess.
Don't blame you.
And like I said, he could have seen my breakdown in Daytona and ran the other way and been like, "Girl, I'm going to deal with you." But he was like, "Dude, you're safe." I took him with me to Arizona. It was kind of like my testing him out. Kind of.
He was probably "Slow down, I'm getting tired. I'm running."
And there was a moment where he was like, "Babe, this is a lot." And I was like, "I know, honey. What can I do to make you more comfortable?" And we talked it out. But there's a difference between, I'm used to such toxicity that when I thought he was upset, I was like, and he was like, "Babe, it's okay." Like, well, what am I going to do with all my anger now? Why aren't you fighting with me? And he, but we talked it out and he's great. He's like, I'll take a backseat to you. He's like, never ride behind me. You ride next to me or in front of me. He goes, you don't take a backseat to me. And it's just a completely different thing. It's a completely different type of man. And this is what he is. He's a man, and like I said, he bought a bike here in California just to be able to ride with me. Because he's in Florida.
Okay, he's in Florida.
Yeah,
he lives in Florida.
He lives in Florida.
Oh.
So we see each other maybe every 3 weeks for a few days. It's a process.
So are you moving to Florida or is he moving to Cali?
Yeah, because one of the two.
He already bought a bike in Cali.
Yeah. That's the number one question that's asked, and it's I'd never want to pressure anybody because he's a doctor. So he has his life established in Florida. And I never want to pressure anybody. With California, you can't bring your license over here and be a doctor. So you would have to make a completely different switch. And I don't want that for him. So we're still trying to figure out, whether we just go over there back and forth for a little bit. But I don't know. We'll see.
Let it be. Just let let things work out, go with the flow. Yeah. Organically. Let it happen organically.
Yes. He's like no other. I
good
thank
for
God
you
for him every day.
Good for you. Glad that you found that, and that, however that came about, glad that it worked out.
You.
Yeah,
I appreciate for sure. That.
Yeah. You definitely look happy on there, and lucky man, lucky Thank woman, you. I'm guessing. Yes. Good for you.
So you met him after Rolling Sands?
Yes. No. When was Daytona?
That's what I'm trying to
think I had just met him
before,
like a week before.
Okay.
Yeah. Like a week before we had just met.
Okay.
Yeah. And
so what'd you meet in Daytona?
In Daytona.
Okay.
I rolled up on I rented a little Kawasaki. So I rode up in a sport bike, and his friend actually tried hitting on me, and I was like,
things happen for a reason.
Right? So many, and I wasn't even supposed to be in Daytona. I was supposed to be in Las Vegas. I wasn't supposed to go to Daytona until the second week of Daytona. But my girlfriend was like, let's just go. And I was like, fuck it, let's go. So many things had to align for me to meet him in that moment. And even then I was like, no, dude, I thought that I was further along in my healing. And he goes, I will meet you anywhere that you are in your healing. He's like, I just want to get to know you. And I was like, well, fuck it. All right.
Good.
Let's do it. And here we are.
Type of person you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Things
Somebody who's confident in himself enough to let me be me.
And I'm sure he'll be at the show.
No. So
really?
He's because he's a doctor. He's a doctor for Formula One. And that's going on in Miami the first day.
The race.
Okay. So that's going on the same day. And he told me the day we met, when I gave him a flyer, that's how I approached him. He was like, oh, I would, but he didn't tell me what he did for a living. He was like, I'm going to be at Formula One. I was like, fuck Formula One, And then after, I was like, so what do you do? And he was very he didn't want to tell me what he did. And I understand now, because nobody wants to be attracted. Nobody wants them to be attracted to them because of who they are.
Yeah.
And he didn't know who I was. And so most of the time people approach me and hit on me because of who I am. So it just kind of worked that he had no idea who I was. He was like, oh, you have a nice butt. And that was what I was attracted to. That's what he said. He was like, I checked out your butt. You rolled up on the sport bike. And I was like, dang, girl, you work out. And I'm like, but no, he won't be at the show, but I'm flying out May 15th after Mother's Day to spend a couple of weeks with him.
There you go. Good. Well, I wish that a long, happy relationship.
I told him, this is my last relationship or my first murder charge. You pick. I'm not doing this shit again. You pick. He's like, okay.
I think we know which one he's gonna go with.
He's like, I don't want to die.
Shit. All right. Well, Bunnie, we're creeping up on 2 hours.
No, we're not.
Yeah.
For real?
It goes by quick.
Holy
It goes by quick. Did anybody ask questions? Was there anything that wanted to get kind of answered, like FAQs? Is there any information that you want to give people about it?
The number one question right now are cuts allowed? Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Are what sold out?
Colors, are they allowed? Cuts.
Oh, okay. I can hear you. Okay.
So colors are allowed. Wear them with pride. We know you've worked hard for them. Just respect my spot.
Fair enough.
Leave your bullshit at home.
Yes, the stadium actually tried to convince me not to. They were worried about a certain group. And I was like, look, dude, you have no idea. This isn't Dateline. You have no idea what you're talking about. These are kind of people. And usually I've never had an issue. There's been issues, but I personally never had an issue with anybody.
Yeah.
So as long as you leave your stuff at home and nothing happens at my show.
Check it at the door.
Wear your colors with pride. Fly those colors. What else? All spectators are welcome. For some reason, men think that they're not allowed. Yes. Men are allowed.
Yeah.
Come support. You have your own little
special focus area. Is women. But it doesn't mean that you can't come and you can't out.
Is the bike show for just women?
Yes. Okay. So only female-owned bikes are on display at the show.
That's cool.
Yes.
That's going to be cool. That's going to be a nice element.
So it's 100% women-owned bikes.
Okay.
And that's what we do at all of our shows. And, even our, the rides that we do with our rides, everybody's welcome. Men can ride with it. We're not about excluding men. We're just about giving women a seat at the front of the table.
Mm-hmm.
Even during the rides we have over 20 rides being hosted from different dealerships. And we just had a meeting with all of the women and
that day coming to the show? Wow. They're going to come in droves. They're going to come in And
we just had a meeting and I told all of the ride hosts, this is for you ladies. If you want men to help you sweep and road captain, go for it. But the women need to be in the front.
Yeah.
Or have 2 lines, because it's going to be easier for the count too.
Get it?
You know, like have the men on the left and the women on the right, because when you come in, you can just split up. But this is about the women. So make sure that your women are in the front.
Yeah.
You know, make sure that the ride is led by women. This is our day. This is about us. It's International Female Ride Day. This is a day for us. So if you just take a back seat to us for once, you guys.
Shit, that's nothing wrong with that at all, you know? Yeah. No, it doesn't even have to just be for the day. Yeah. Shit, you know, like can be any day of the week. Doesn't have to just be Mother's Day that you appreciate moms. Doesn't have to just be.
I've always said Valentine's Day is a reminder for the piece of shit that don't know how to do it all year long, bro.
I hate Valentine's
It's a dead
Day.
truth, bro. Am I not right?
That's true.
It's a reminder day for the deadbeats that don't do it all year long.
Yeah. I never got to experience Valentine's Day, so I just want at least one.
I don't much either. I don't much either lately.
We're gonna hold a dating game the day of the show for SB. We're gonna
singled out. What's that old show? Singled out.
Ride motorcycle.
Must ride a motorcycle. Yeah. At first, it was about me. The women were like, "We're gonna find your husband," and now it's like, "Okay, let's pass the torch over to her." Like, I'm all good now.
It'll happen when it happens, right? The right person will come along and all that. Yeah, you never want to rush anything.
And you're in a relationship with me now, so you know.
There you go. Yeah. It'll happen when it happens. My wife and I knew each other way back in the day, and then lost touch, and not lost touch, but just her and her brother and I played baseball. And I remember her as a little booger kid, you know, the little snot-nosed kid running around the baseball field. And then 20 years later, you know, we reunited, or we kind of, you know, and shit happens, you know, it'll happen when it happens, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So somebody just asked what time the count happens. The count starts at 10 and we have until 4.
Yes.
So as long as you're rolling in, you're counted.
Okay. What time does the show end?
4.
Oh, if you're not there before 4.
Yeah,
you're missing out.
Yes.
You see somebody like rolling in with the bike at 3:59, so.
Right?
Well, get them in there.
Yeah,
right? It'll count.
Get them
but
in
you're
there.
gonna miss the fun.
So, for a couple of questions that I have that people will be able to help out, or to help people out. One, if you're riding in, how can you pay for admission ahead of time? Are you having to pay like at the gate? So you like how's that going to work?
We recommend that you buy your ticket to avoid lines at the door, because it's going to be hectic. And you can go on our website and then click on the buy tickets now link, and it'll take you to Eventbrite. We will be selling tickets at the door, but for $25. You can do it for $20 with discount code Goddess. And then we are offering group discounts. So online, if you buy tickets in packs of 10 or more, you paid $15 instead of $25. Okay. So that's just, you know, for the clubs that are coming in and like the groups of people that are coming in from 4. We wanted to make it affordable. This was never about making money. It's just about making it affordable for people to come in.
Well, I mean, on that note, it takes money to put this all together, for God's sake. So definitely. As much as I'm sure you'd like to just like open it up and say, hey, come on in and enjoy yourself, that's impossible to do. It costs something to do it.
Honestly, I think a lot of people don't realize that, because I got some slack. They were like, well, it says $5 from each general admission is going to go to the rest of the foundation. What's the other money going to go for? For real?
Yeah, to pay for the shit, the security, the advertising. Don't understand
the DJs, 2 DJs, a band. Dude, I mean, dancers, you pay a lot of money. The venue.
And we have sponsors, but I'm in deep with my own money.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the sponsor money isn't covering nearly what everything is. We paid the stadium the other day, and I was like, ow.
Oh, yeah.
Know, it hurts my soul. Stadiums aren't cheap. You know, we went
to me.
big.
Okay. She likes Joe. She likes Joe. Yeah. No, that you're absolutely right. It's it takes money to put this type of stuff on, even on our scale where we have skateboards painted for trophies. That costs us money, you know, things like that cost us money. It just costs money. So when people question it, it's like, okay, if you question it, then maybe it's not the type of venue for you, or I don't know what to tell you, but reality is nothing's free in this world. Nothing is free in this world.
Like we don't have corporates. Our biggest sponsorship package was only $700. Like we didn't come in asking for 5,000, 10,000. We came in, vendors are only $100 for a 10 by 10. It's like, if you go to any other show, it's 3 times that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, we didn't want that. We wanted it to be affordable for everybody. And I told it from the beginning, as long as I break even, I'm good.
Yeah.
You know, and then it became about the foundation and all of that. So I'm like, all right, dude, like this is for a good cause. You know, let's step it up a little bit.
So Iron Goddess Show .com?
IronGoddessMotorcycleShow.com.
Okay. That's where you can go buy tickets
That's
now.
where you can go buy tickets now, or you can buy day of. We were going to do cash only, but she actually just set up
the Square payment system. So you can process
there
it.
you go.
And tablets and everything. So
bike parking.
Look at you.
Right. I love her. Bike parking is free. Cars are $5. You can either pay cash there or, purchase it online.
Is that through the stadium or something? Or that's through...
No, that's just through us to help cover
you got it. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So IronGoddessMotorcycleShow.com is where people can go and check it out. It seems to me, correct me if I'm wrong, but Iron Goddess Motorcycle Show on Instagram is where you can kind of keep up with the daily and the updates and the rides and
everything else that we have going. And like I said, we have 20 rides from different areas. I mean, Bakerfield is coming in. Red Rock is hosting a ride themselves. So if you go on our highlights, the link that says rides to the show, all the info is there.
Oh, that's a highlight on the top of the Instagram page.
And they're all co-ed.
Okay.
All co-ed rides.
Okay.
The only ones that may not be co-ed are the rides not sanctioned by us.
Gotcha.
But anything that we have posted is co-ed.
Okay. Awesome. It's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a really good day. It's gonna be a good vibe. It's gonna be a good atmosphere. And remember, check your attitudes at the door. Come and have a good time and just celebrate. Let's just say a day of history.
Yeah.
Let's celebrate a day of a world record breaking type shit. I'm excited to be just in the crowd to break this record. I'll be like, I was at the place that the world record got broken.
Yeah.
So,
and once we get close, we'll make an announcement like, oh, we're about to hit this number. And that way, whoever wants to run out to the parking lot, take a look and,
we should
record
have a
it.
gong or something. Like a bell. Just to kind of announce it.
You should have like a counter above the entrance, as the girl goes, and then that way the next person can know they're they're getting close.
I was number whatever.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Joe.
Yeah,
that's a good idea. Yeah, I saw this little thing on Instagram that they have where it's it's linked to your I don't know, it's for businesses where they put on their retail stuff, and when you hit a follower, then it changes. It's something like that where it just counts.
Yeah,
that'd
be pretty cool.
That'd be
the one to say 365 days of no accidents at work.
Or maybe just get one of those.
It's like in lights, but
get one of those little LED boards where you can just change the numbers.
That's what I'm saying. But that LED part
that would
of it,
be awesome because then people can see it in real time.
Yeah,
right above as they're riding through. Just be like the
because you guys are going to have a count on it as it is anyway, right?
It'd be pretty
cool.
Yeah.
And actually, the girl I was telling you about, the one that's doing the female ride in Vegas, just signed on. We were talking about you, how you invited us to host or judge your show, and how we're working together for next year, and we need more of that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Are pets allowed? Yes, pets are allowed. Bring your pigs, your cats, your birds. I mean, all invited.
Yeah, I would love to bring the dog. We should be out there all day. Should be all burnt out and stuff. So. Oh, yeah. By the way, we wanted to announce that stuff. Yeah, thanks, Joe. We got some tickets given to us to be able to raffle off at our last show that we just did. And unfortunately, the person that won them saw the date and they weren't able to attend. So she was like, hey, I want these to go back to somebody, give them away. So we got some tickets. I hope you don't mind.
No,
we're gonna give them away. We're gonna probably tag you or something like that in, or collaborate with you or something like that on it.
And I brought gifts for you guys, and your third person isn't here. So, but I brought a gift for him as well.
Oh, thank you. Should we open it now?
Yeah, open it.
All right, let's open it now, Joe. Wow, you're so awesome, Bunnie. Let's see, what do we got? We have look at that, Joe. It doesn't matter what you ride. If you ride, you're an Iron Goddess.
Look at that.
I love that. Awesome.
Look at that.
What else do we have in here? Oh, a couple of tickets.
Ticket.
Dang, I'm gonna make sure that
friends are.
You know who these are. I'm gonna find 2 girls at Ride to make sure that these go to somebody that's gonna ride into the show. I'm gonna find somebody that's gonna ride into the show. Yeah. Awesome. What else did you throw in here? Good gosh. Oh, VIP.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna wear this from now to I'm just gonna wear this. I'm gonna feel like I'm just What is the So do somebody can people buy these as well? What are the VIP things for?
The VIP we're gonna have a lounge area for our VIPs. That'll get you into the VIP area at the clubs that we're doing the parties at, if you guys want to stick around. But basically, if people see you with the VIP, they're not going to hassle you with anything.
That's really cool. Thank you, Bunnie. Yeah. Thank you guys very much. This is really cool. This is very appreciated. And I am going to make sure to do my part to get these to 2 girls that are going to ride into the show to contribute to that number and get you up to 1550.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Likewise.
Definitely.
I'm going to put it on my Instagram or
yeah,
something.
these are definitely going to go to
no men entries.
That is going to be a requirement to get these. You must ride into the show.
Ride.
That's what I want to
Yes.
do. Yeah, that's really cool. Well, I'm excited for it. It's going to be a really good show. I'm excited to be there podcasting and just enjoy the atmosphere, enjoy the vibe. And if you need anything, of course, we're going to continue to share and blast it and get the word out there for you as much as we can.
Yeah.
Tag us and stuff that we can share.
Absolutely. And people always ask, how can I help? And my answer is always spread the word. Just keep reposting, please. Like
that's the biggest form of support.
Yes, that's the most help that I need right now is getting the word out and spreading the word. Share our videos, tag us as collaborators. Because I mean, I get overwhelmed with social media at times. So people like add me as a collaborator or Iron Goddess as a collaborator, then I don't need to really post that day.
Content's already done. So
yes, it's already done. So please add me as a collaborator. Anything female motorcycle related, please, it'll help.
So I'm going to eat my words when I said nothing's free. It is free to share a post. It is free to share. It doesn't cost you anything. It takes a whole whopping 5 seconds of your time, maybe, to share it to your story. But that is free, and that's the way that you can go and support not just Iron Goddess and that, but in any business or anything that you support. That is a way for you to support. If you don't buy anything, go and show other people what's out there so that maybe they can support it and they can go and attend it, because there's still people. We're excited about it. Everybody that I know knows about the show, but there's still a lot of people that need to hear about it and need to know about it. And by doing that, that's how it's going to get out there. So it's going to be a good one. May 6th.
May 6th.
One more time. Where's it at?
San Bernardino 66er Baseball Stadium.
Okay. And get there. I would suggest getting the doors open at 10, but I would suggest
you get there early.
I'd suggest getting there early anyway.
And we're still accepting bike entries into the show.
Okay.
Like I said, anybody who enters their bike in the show is automatically entered to win the Iron Goddess $1,000 award.
Awesome.
So it's worth it.
Did the camera go out?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it died. We're finishing up right now anyway.
Yeah,
we're finishing.
Florida,
we'll finish up. This will finish up on the Spotify at least.
It'll still be the audio portion of it. So, well, ladies, thank you very much for coming down here. I know it's on a Thursday. I know it's not always the easiest, but I wanted to do our part to be able to support, get the word out there, get everybody all the details, and introduce the team, the two that are kind of leading the chart, the two that are going to be number 1 and number 2 riding into the show. Make sure that you guys get your word out there and your message out there. Any way that we can support, please let us know. You have a safe drive.
Thank you.
Back home, and we will see you definitely May 6th. All right. Thank you guys for coming down. Thank you.
It's a pleasure meeting you guys.
Yes.
Good friendship.
Very
well friendship.
You're still my hero.
Nope, no hero. No hero, but a great friend.
All right, guys. Till the next one, next week's podcast. We'll tune in on Thursday. We'll be here again every Thursday. 7
You guys are
p.m.
family now.
That's it. You are family now. All right. All right, guys. We will see you guys later. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Good night.